Hey, Jay and the Sticks, what's happening, man? We're just getting set up to start here. Kyle Anderson, welcome aboard. Have a little bit of fun here tonight. We got some new stuff going on. Just giving it a chance for everybody to get into the room, say hi, meet and greet a little bit here. And then we'll be getting up here and getting to work on the build before it gets dark. Sitting at work? Hey, at least your work's on a boat, right? Alright guys, 1 second here. I'm going to go ahead and share this out on Twitter. While I do that, it's going to pause the stream for an instant and then we'll be right back at it. If you can, please do the same. Share this out on Twitter and Facebook, whatever social media pages you see fit. And let everybody know that we are live streaming and we do have the moonshine out here tonight. We're going to be busting in that here in a little bit. We're just trying to get word out that we're live streaming right now. So I'm going to go ahead and send it out on Twitter, which will pause the stream for a second. If you guys can, please share it out on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere else that you see fit. Get your friends in here to hang out with you in the chat while we're streaming tonight. We're going to do some really cool stuff to the build, something that you've probably never seen anybody do before, which is what we like doing. We got a few things brewing on up there. So, hey, Tom, I really loved that music session you had last night. That was really awesome. So we're just getting the live stream started here. We're going to get word out that we're streaming, and then we'll get started. All right, there we go. My one link over there on Twitter is officially out, so we got that announced on Twitter. I cannot post on Facebook for the next 3 days because I'm in Facebook jail right now. Apparently something I said violated the community guidelines, so I'm in Facebook jail for 3 days. I can't post, like, share, or anything over on Facebook. It's a good thing that I have several different Facebook profiles because I can do and say whatever I want and still get the word out. Hey, Jefferson, welcome along. Like I said, we're just getting started here. We're trying to get some tweets sent out, share us on Facebook, see if we can get some more people up in here before we start building on the structure. Don't know where everybody's at tonight, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and start moving up there. We're going to get that filter that we have off. Check that shit out. Starting to stream off a little bit different tonight. We're going to be getting that off here in a minute, but we're going to take a little walk around with that filter on just because it looks fucking awesome. So we're just playing around right now. We're experimenting with YouTube live stream filters while we're out here in the woods. I did do a test run where it's a private live stream where I got to play with these filters a little bit on a private stream and see what it was like. But there's our bushcraft build so far. Our stone walls are settling up. We did get some rain come in to help polish them off. So we got that going for us. We brought up some more blue shale that we will be incorporating into the build tonight. We got some beams over here cut, and we're gonna use the dream filter here to walk around to the back of the build, and we'll take a look at the cauldron that we got. Yeah, it's like an acid trip. So we're just, like I said, we're just playing around with the filters. I think it looks pretty fucking cool though, especially out here in this woods. And we got the cauldron brewing up something a little special for us here that we're gonna be using. So while we got the filter on, let's take a quick look around here. We have beautiful scenery out here in this forest, so it's worth taking a look with the fancy little filter on there to kick things off. Make things just a little bit different. I did go back and check on that crystal that I found in the previous live stream where we were hiking back the creek, and I got it pulled out of the ground, and that damn quartz crystal that's in the middle of the creek back there probably weighs 200-300 pounds. I mean, it is a massive chunk. I would walk you guys back there if I thought you were so interested and show you the crystal that I got to try to figure out a way to bring up here to the camp. We got something special planned for it. So yeah, we're using the dream filter right now on the live stream while we're out in the woods, and this is the setting so far. If I hold still, it kind of clears up. At least the center of it clears up a little bit. Creek's running pretty good. We did get some new deposits up in here from the last couple of rainstorms that we had come through the area here recently, which is good. That's always helping us out. We need more stone up here because we still got a fireplace and chimney to build. And that rain came in and helped support some of our fungal growth that we've been trying to keep going here. Oh, sorry about that little bump. Keep going here at the build. We're trying to get these to get a good system going on right here inside of the camp before fall and winter sets in. Just using everything we can to our advantage. Okay, let's get up here to the build and get this damn old filter off. We'll settle in, have us a quick drink, and then I'll show you what we're going to be doing here this evening as far as working on the build itself. We got some beams to put in, some chinking, and we're going to be doing something experimental using the blue shale. So we get set up here real quick and get this damn filter off here, because I ain't going to look like Rainbow Bright the entire time. Hey, check this one out. Holy shit. Now there's some serious bushcraft camping right there. Everybody take a still image of that. Go out there and tell everybody that Huntsman had fucking bubbles glowing around his camp. For such a backwoods badass, there he is playing with the bubbles. That's a little bit better. But I think we're gonna go, yeah, let's go there. That's pretty cool. We're having a lot of fun out here now. Just playing around with YouTube. YouTube likes playing around with us creators. Least we can do is play around with them too. Alright, let me get that shit off my screen so I can see everybody's comments. Make sure that my comments are turned on the live and not the top, so I can see everybody that comments, at least while I'm looking at the screen there. Let me get settled in here real quick, guys, and grab my mason jar. There we go. So we are going to be doing a little bit of work before it gets dark out here. But I've been wood processing and stuff for a couple of hours now. I had to bring some more stone up here to the build for tonight's activities. This is going to be my first sit down. So this is my first break right here at the start of the stream, so I could say hi to everybody. Welcome you to the next chapter in the Huntsman Live Bushcraft Build Series. For those of you who are new or might not know, or just want to hear it one more fucking time, every part of this bushcraft build is done right here on the live streams. We do not touch anything on the structure unless we're streaming live. So what we got right here is exactly where we left off the last time. I have not done anything to the structure aside from coming out here and processing the materials that I need for this next part of the build. This next part of the build, what we're going to be doing is doing a little experiment over here on this front section right here. And the reason I'm going to do the small section is because, like I just said, we're going to be doing a little bit of an experiment on how we're putting this thing together, and I want to see how it holds up. David, welcome to the stream, man. We're going to be cooking up a little cocktail right here real quick so Huntsman can have a sip and smoke a cigar before we get to building. We still got a little bit of daylight left, maybe an hour or so. So we got plenty of time to set the beams in, get our chinking done, and we're going to be encrusting the front part of this shelter with blue shale. So that's what we got going on right here, is this one section right over here. We're going to put the beams in to fill it in. We're going to get the chinking in there, and then we're going to encrust that chinking with blue shale. So you'll have a wood beam, and then you'll have this encrusted blue shale line going down through there. And we're going to do it with a small section first, see if it holds up over a few days, because we're just packing crushed blue shale into the clay, kind of give it a stony surface and maybe reflect some light. We're going to see how that looks whenever we get it done. If it works on a small section, then we're going to come over here and do the same thing on the big section before we put our door in. So that's the experiment we got going on tonight. We're trying to build almost like a false front to the shelter. It's going to have our wood beams with chinking, clay chinking in there, but then it's going to have that blue shale encrusted outer shell to it. So the whole outside face of the structure is going to look like stone, even though it's not entirely stone. So we got that going on. We're going to try a couple of things here while we're streaming too, just to have some fun while we're streaming. So I did bring out my mason jar moonshine. We had this tucked in a log over there off to the side, and this is Midnight Moon 100 proof moonshine. We're going to be drinking American Kentucky moonshine out of a Norwegian Kuxa this evening. So we got a culture clash going on here. We got American corn whiskey going into a Nordic Kuxa. I don't know if it fits, but this is what we're going to be sipping on tonight while we're working. We're blending cultures. We got Nordic, we got backwoods country style. Check this shit out, guys. We're gonna bring you over here to the kitchen. Stop looking at my ugly mug for a minute. And we're gonna do a little project right here. And it's probably we're gonna do this again after dark whenever I get to my second cup. But we're gonna do a little project right here on the live stream, just so everybody can see the wonderful magical properties of moonshine, which is what us backwoods motherfuckers like to drink on occasion. Now, I am a bourbon man for the most part, but we got to talking about moonshine in one of our previous streams, and yeah, so we went out and got us a mason jar of authentic American country style moonshine, and we're going to do a little project here. Check this out. We're just going to pour us a little bit of sipping whiskey into our Kuxa, and that's for us right there. And we're going to do this uncut so y'all can see this. We're going to take a little bit and dab it right here on our miniaturized Swedish fire torch. Check this shit out. We're going to do this again after dark so you'll be able to see it better. There we go. We got a moonshine lit Swedish fire torch. Yeah, alcohol abuse. Jess, I love you. Thank you for showing up. But there we just lit a miniaturized Swedish fire torch with moonshine. We're going to see how long that shit burns. And then we're going to come back and do that one more time after dark because that flame is beautiful. Thank you, Jefferson. Hi to you too. So we got our moonshine burning. We got our Kuxa with moonshine in it. We're going to sit back here and sip on some moonshine that we got burning right beside us, candying up that log a little bit just for shits and giggles. Sip on some moonshine that we just poured into the Kuxa and lit on fire. 100 proof moonshine goes down really smooth. It's kind of sweet, unless you light it on fire. We did that on my last live stream where we were just drinking moonshine at the house. We lit our rock bottom glass on fire, let it burn for a minute, and it gave this kind of spicy flavor to the shine. So there's that. This is just straight shine. There's no fruit or anything in this. So if I was to drop a cherry in here, the moonshine would taste like cherries. If I drop a piece of watermelon in there, it tastes like watermelon. Blackberry, on and on and on. You can make this shit taste like anything that you want. And it's 100 proof, so you can also use it as an astringent. Yeah, it's sweet. Yeah, we got the harvest moon this month, and then we got the hunter's moon coming up in October. And the hunter's moon is kind of like a sacred day for the Huntsman channel. The hunter's moon, the Huntsman channel. Some of you guys know the story behind the hunter's moon and all of that. So yeah, there's a mythology behind the hunter's moon and the huntsman, bushcraft, outdoors, wilderness survival, redneck motherfucker sitting in the woods drinking moonshine YouTube channel. So we will be out here on the hunter's moon. We got something special planned for the hunter's moon, and you guys are actually going to get to see some of the mythology behind the channel, and how the hunter's moon tied into the creation of the channel, going on almost 2 years ago. So we got that coming up too. That's a big day for the channel. Along with the hunter's moon, we will also be going on a whitetail hunt. It is bow season here in Ohio, and we've been preparing for that. My last live stream, we was there at the house drinking moonshine and shooting off a compound bow. If you guys happen to miss that, that is up on the channel, and you can go see me drink moonshine in my garage and then go out and shoot a bow after I get a good buzz going on. And we came up with the Little Blue Bastard, which is a drink which has got a shot of bourbon in it, a shot of 100 proof moonshine in it, top it off with blue Gatorade. Call it the Little Blue Bastard, official drink of the Huntsman series. Tonight we're drinking moonshine, and we are smoking our backwoods honey bourbon cigars. Anybody that sends me a super chat or hits that PayPal link that's on the home screen of the channel, I use that money to go out and buy backwoods, honey, bourbon, cigars, moonshine, and shit like that we get to come out here and play with in the series. And I always appreciate the support for the channel. That's always great. Good thing these things don't cost too goddamn much. Otherwise, I'd have to explain it to my wife. Other news going on before we get to the build. Our oldest dog, Bailey, we called her Bear as a nickname. She had developed, she had gotten sick. She had developed cataracts. She had gone blind. She was really disoriented, confused, looked like she was scared most of the time. And she dropped close to 40 pounds of weight in the span of about 3 weeks. So I took her to the vet. The vet took one look at her and said that she had advanced case of diabetes, and that's what was causing the rapid weight loss. That's what caused her to go blind so rapidly. It was diabetes. Her body had stopped producing insulin. So in order to treat her, she would have had to have an insulin shot every single day, probably more than once a day for the rest of her life. They would not be able to cure the blindness. And Bailey was a very... Hey, Burnwood. Nice to see you, brother. Bailey was a very active dog. She loved playing ball and tug of war and things like that. Her quality of life, as far as her happiness level goes, went with her going blind. She just wasn't able to do all the things that she loved to do. So Courtney and I wrestled with it and wrestled with it and wrestled with it, and then after taking her to the vet and confirming what was going on with her, we had Bailey put to sleep. And we had, you know, that dog's been in the family for 14 years. She had one hell of a life, but we did have to put our oldest dog to sleep. And Courtney got Bailey when she was a pup. Bailey was thrown out of a car. Previous owner threw her out of a car as a puppy. She's lucky she didn't get killed because they just tossed her from a moving vehicle. Courtney got her and raised her up, and she was the best damn dog. I mean, she was smart, she was loyal. Whenever we got Cheyenne, brought her in, she took to Shy and raised Shy like her own daughter. They didn't always get along, but you know, it was pretty close. Thank you, Jess. So having a dog for that damn long, 14 years, that's something that's ingrained into your life. I mean, that's just... that's a family member, you know, that's a close family member. That's like losing one of your kids. So we went through that, and that messed me up because I was the one to take her to the vet to have her put to sleep. They gave her the first shot, and Bailey laid down on my lap, and she was laying on my lap whenever her heart stopped. I sat there and held her the whole time, and honestly, I cried like a little baby. I have no shame in saying it. That fucked me up in the head. And to be honest, guys, losing Bailey that way and having to go through that with her right there at the end, it still got me emotionally fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. I brought her back home. We put her in the backyard, you know, and got her all, you know, tended to there. So she's there at home with us. But losing Bear, it's been hard. Anyway, moving on from that, it's not Cheyenne's fault of what happened to Bailey. And it's really not our fault. It was onset. I mean, it was instantaneous. One day she was healthy, and the next day this diabetes just destroyed her life. It was that fucking fast. We couldn't even get her into a vet in time to find out what the hell was going on with her. And no matter what we fed her, she wasn't getting any weight back. So, you know, anytime you take on a dog, it's your responsibility to stay with that dog to the very end. There are a lot of owners out there, whenever the dog gets older and they have to have them put down, they leave them, and that's a huge mistake. Hey, David, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. It's a huge mistake, and it's a chicken shit thing to do if you leave your dog at the very end. Bailey was a family member. There was no way I was leaving her side in what could have been her most terrifying moment. And from my perspective, and this is just my perspective, if you take a dog to a vet to have him euthanized for whatever reason, and you leave that dog alone right there at the end, you're a bastard. that's not the right thing to do, especially if you are close and that dog is considered a family member. You stay with them. You have to suck it up. You have to take it. And guys, it messed me up losing Bailey. It fucked with my head and my heart sitting there holding her, knowing that I was the one giving permission for that second shot to go in. But like I said, it was what was best for her. It had nothing to do with how I felt about it. Her quality of life was shit. She went from being happy to being miserable all the time, and she was suffering. She was starting to hurt every time she moved or every time she went to the bathroom. And I wasn't going to let her hurt. And I sure as hell wasn't going to chicken shit out and leave that dog alone in her last few minutes, you know, because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. It fucked me up. But I still did it, because that's just the thing you got to do. But getting off of that, it wasn't Cheyenne's fault of what happened to Bailey, and Cheyenne is a pretty social dog, and she's always had Bailey there. Bailey was kind of the mommy figure, you know, and Cheyenne's never been alone. Cheyenne's another rescue pup. So we went out and found yet another rescue pup. Bear was a rescue pup, Cheyenne was a rescue pup, and we got another one. So Cheyenne didn't have to be alone, and it kind of offsets the confusion of losing Bailey and why Bailey's not here. The only thing Shy's trying to figure out right now is how do you go from having a big-ass Shepherd Lab mix to a dog that looks like the size of a squirrel, because she's only a couple of months old. And Shy doesn't know how to take her just yet, but she's getting there. It's actually going pretty good. So we've only had her for a day. Her name's Paisley Joe. We call her PJ. We got a lot of crate training and stuff like that to do, but, you know, new member of the family in the house. Just went out and spent $50 on a crate to put her in, too. Anyway, that's the story of what's going on with the dogs, guys. We did lose a family member this week. Actually, it was just day 4 yesterday. So it's still kind of fresh. And Jess, actually, if you guys are around later on this evening after we get done here at camp, I'm thinking I'm going to be going back home and then doing another live stream tonight, depending on how long we stream here, working on the build. I'll be headed back home, and we'll live stream from the garage or the front porch there at the house tonight. And you guys will be able to see Paisley for the very first time on a live stream and say hi to her. She is absolutely adorable, very cartoonish. You know, she's got that whole puppy thing going on. So anybody interested in coming to a late night live stream for the Huntsman, it might be 10, 11 o'clock this evening. Might even be midnight. But yeah, we'll go ahead and stream there from the house tonight, so everybody that's around can come and meet Paisley Joe, who is going to be growing up right here on the channel. We just got her. She's only a couple months old, so obviously she's going to show up in videos quite a bit. Might even bring her and Cheyenne out to camp with me, try to get her active in the outdoors. And I'm actually thinking about training this new pup to track down deer antler and take her out shed hunting. So we have some things going on with the dogs that, yeah, we'll definitely let everybody meet them here later on. So again, what I got going on here at the build this evening, we're going to be streaming after dark, obviously, for a while, and we got plenty of lighting for that. We're going to be working on this small section here. I got all the materials ready. I need to get that closed down. We're going to encrust it with blue shale, but that's what we're going to be doing here in a minute. Honey bourbon cigars. And moonshine, I don't know how many bushcrafters that y'all watch that smoke honey bourbon cigars and sip moonshine at their bushcraft camp, but that's what we're doing right here on the live stream tonight. We're going to get started on this build here in a second. We're not going to be doing a lot of work to the build just because this is an experiment that we're doing. If it works on this small section, it'll work on the large one. So tomorrow night when I come back out, I can have all the materials ready to go that I need for this large section, and the front face will be closed in. But we're going to try it with a small section, see if the encrusting blue shale into the chinking actually holds up. So it's a little bit of an experiment, but I kind of want to see if it comes out blue, like if we get blue lining in between the wood beams. That might look unique. Gotta smoke this cigar a little bit, get these goddamn mosquitoes out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see where these these pieces might fit in there best. I might have to move things around a little bit. We already got the... Hold on a second, guys. Thank you, thank you. Sorry about that. What I had got going on here. Whenever I first came down to camp tonight, I was filming Friday night's episode of Huntsman, and I'm heading down a creek, and I seen this buck, big ass buck. I don't know how many points he is though. I couldn't get a good enough shot out of him, check his points, and I couldn't get the little bastard on film because he ran up this eastern ridge and got over the top of the ridge before I could get the camera ready. But we got one big ass buck in here that we're going to try to capture on film, whether I capture him with the handheld camera or get him on trail cam. I'm getting that buck on film. I'm gonna take a good look at that rack. And then as I'm coming down through here, I seen 2 more does. So I've been surrounded by whitetail all evening as I'm down here working. They come down, I think they're coming down to the creek for water, and then they spot me or something like that, and they're staying off to a distance, but they're watching me for a while. So it's not like I'm spooking them. And I didn't hear any snorts, and I ain't seen any white flags as I'm down here working. So they're just off in the distance here, all the way around me, watching me tonight, which is cool because we're leaving our scent out here. We got the black flag hanging over there, and I want to show you something on that too. Something went my T-shirt that was hanging up that I wear out here while I'm working. Something climbed up the tree and chewed holes in it. Had to be the damn raccoon. But yeah, something went up there and got on my T-shirt that I wear out here while I'm working, so I leave my scent here at camp and get all of the wildlife accustomed to my scent and chewed holes in it. I bet I got a fucking raccoon out here that's just screwing with me. Alright, we can't be drinking too much moonshine because it's going to start getting dark. We need to start this build. Let me see where I can fit these in it. But that's what happened right there while I stepped away was I heard a footstep off in the distance. There was a deer up there on the back ridge watching me. But they don't get close enough for me to capture on the live stream. Yeah, it's almost dark here too. I need to get to fucking work. That's not too bad. There. Got to move this over a little bit. 1 second, guys. You all know these shit's like puzzle pieces, right? So that's what I was just doing right there. Had one piece to put in the back that helps pinch that to the frame. And yeah, we just gonna... Hey, no problem, Rich. I appreciate you coming by anytime, brother. We got 13 people in the chat room right now that I can see. We only got 6 thumbs up. Y'all some bitches hit that thumbs up. Antisocial bastards can't even hit a thumbs up. Alright, let's take a look at this right quick. So, I just put this piece in here, this piece back here to kind of pinch that up, and then we can fill that in with another piece. But there's our panel, and I really don't need it heavier than that. You can see the gaps in there. That gapping is actually good because we're going to be chinking these up with some clay that we got there in the back, and then we're going to be encrusting each of these lines right here with blue shale to kind of light it up, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do it here on a evening live stream where we're working after dark a little bit. We're going to put that blue shale in there after dark and see if we can brighten it up as much as we can get. But all this got to be filled in with clay, which we already got mixed up in the back, so we're going to be doing that here in a sec, and then we're going to be busting up this blue shale and seeing what we can do with that. So I only wanted a couple of beams on that side. Obviously we got a little bit more to cut for this side, but we're going to try the experiment first. We're going to get that chinked up inside and out, encrust it with blue shale, see what it looks like after dark. Awesome, Tyler. I got a package coming too. The package that I got coming, and we're going to go ahead and talk about this here on the live stream because I want you guys' feedback. You guys know that I do not take sponsorships, YouTube sponsorships. I am dead set against ever taking a YouTube sponsorship. Nobody is going to pay my country boy ass to come out here and be in the woods. I've been doing it for free since I started the channel. I've been doing it for free all my fucking life. It's just my lifestyle. It's not a business arrangement. Nobody has to pay me to come out here and do bushcrafting or hunting or hiking or anything. And I'm not gonna be that guy. There's too many of them out there as it is. That being said, while I'm sitting here drinking my shine, the boys over at Indestructible Shoes got a hold of me to see if I would take on the Indestructible Shoes Challenge. Now, the deal with the Indestructible Shoes Challenge is they send you a pair of free shoes. You know, they're like $50 shoes, and you try to beat the shit out of them. And most people, you know, they kind of take it to the lab with Indestructible Shoes. They take a hammer to them, they run over them with a truck, they try to take a saw to them, cut them up, things like that. We're not doing that. What my deal is with the Indestructible Shoes will be, they're going to send me a pair. They shipped them out today. And we're going to start a new series here, kind of a sub-series on the channel, where I'm just wearing these Indestructible shoes out here and running down the creek and in our kind of terrain, outdoors terrain, all weather conditions, over rocks, in the water, all that shit, see how they hold up. That's our test. That's what we're doing, and it's going to be a long-running thing. We ain't just doing like a 15-minute video trying to destroy the Indestructible shoes. We're actually going to wear them while we're filming the Huntsman series, and see how they hold up over time and throughout the seasons. That way, if you guys are interested in going out and getting yourselves a pair, they do have hikers. You got something to go on. And you guys know me with the gear. If a piece of kit holds up for me, then I'll tell you it holds up for me and try to offer you a link to the store where you can get it yourself. If it does not hold up for me, the companies do not like me because I say I was out in this certain situation, and this piece of kit failed on me. Do not go out and buy it. If it fails one time, I'm not going to push it as a Huntsman product or as a Huntsman backed product. If it fails me one time in any condition, if I have a light camp lantern, and I accidentally drop it in the creek, and that fucking lantern don't light up when I open it up, I ain't passing it off to you guys. So, I got this deal with Indestructible Shoes. They shipped me out a pair today. We're going to wear it in the Huntsman series. We're going to be beating the shit out of them in our kind of conditions to see how they hold up over time, and how they hold up through winter, since winter's coming up, and how insulated they are and shit like that. I will be given a code. I've already been given a code to save you guys 20% off on your pair of shoes if you're so inclined to go buy them. Now here's the catch. I don't like that shit. I don't like the business aspect of doing the outdoor stuff. But if I can save you guys 20% on a pair of the shoes that I'm going to be testing, you can do that too. So if you see the shoes in action here on the channel, and you want to try a pair out yourself or get you a pair that I'm wearing, I can save you guys 20% on that. Now, along with that 20%, obviously, there comes a commission for anybody that buys using the code. And this is the deal with any YouTuber that gets product. A company sends you the product. You send them a price list of how much it would cost to put that product in your videos, or do a review for it, or something like that. That's what all the big bushcrafters do. All the big YouTube channels do. That's why they're plugging sponsors all the fucking time, because they're getting a commission off of it. The more they sell, the more money they make. If they're saving you 10% or 20%, whatever sales, that generates revenue for them. So, in order to keep my fucking dignity and stay true to the theme of the channel, which is we're not here to make money. This is a not-for-profit fucking YouTube channel, aside from buying backwoods cigars. What we're going to do is all of the commissions that I make off of the Indestructible Shoes series will go to a charity. And it's going to be, whether it's a like nature preserve charity where they're trying to preserve the national parks, or the World Wildlife Federation. What I need from you guys is some feedback on an outdoors association or corporation or something like that that is all about preserving nature or helping wildlife out or things like that. I don't want a zoo, I don't want a dog kennel or anything like that. I want something that supports our type of environment. So whether it's a national park, you know, where we can donate the money to a national park, or the World Wildlife Federation or something like that. If you guys can give me any suggestions on where you would donate money to help preserve the outdoors or wildlife or anything like that, please let me know here in the comments on the live stream. Even if I don't see it here, I will see it whenever I go back and review the stream. Or leave me a comment somewhere on my channel of where you would have that money donated to. So that's how I'm going to do it. Any money that I make off of working with Indestructible Shoes will be donated to a charity, and we'll keep everybody in the community updated on that, because whenever they send me whatever commission I get, I will post a receipt on the community section of the channel saying this month we got to donate X amount of dollars to whatever organization we all agree upon, and through the Indestructible Shoes Challenge. So all of our money that we're making on this YouTube channel will be donated to whether it's preservation of wildlife, preservation of natural resources, anything like that. So think about it, research it. If you guys donate to a certain charity, let me know. Thank you, David. I will definitely look into them. Any suggestions, guys, even if I'm not looking at the screen or if I might miss the comment, just go ahead and throw them up there, because I go back and I read every single comment in all of my live streams after the show's over. To see what you guys said while my back was turned away and while I was working on the structure. So, scouts, yeah, scouts wouldn't be too bad. At least we get people in the outdoors, right? So that's what I'm thinking, is we want some sort of outdoors charity that we can donate the money to. I'm not keeping the money. I'm not going to have my YouTube be a business or a profitable thing. I sure as fuck ain't going to turn you guys into statistics. So, yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. I'll work with Indestructible Shoes. They send me a free pair. They save you guys 20% off. Any money we raise with the Indestructible Shoes, anybody using my code, that will go to a charity to help some outdoors natural resources or wildlife federation type deal. So all that money gets donated, and then we'll have proof of that on my social media pages that the Huntsman channel donated X amount of dollars to these charities. That's how we're going to do it. So we'll work with them. We get a free pair of shoes. You guys get 20% off, and then whatever charity we decide on as a group, it'll come down to a poll in the community section of the channel. Whatever we decide on as a group, majority rules, the money will go straight to them. So it's a win-win-win all the way across. We get a free pair of shoes. You guys get 20% off. Our charity of choice gets the donated money. So it's all good, right? If you guys agree with that, let me know. If you think I'm going the wrong direction or this is a little bit risky for the message that I've been putting out since the beginning of the series, let me know. I need your honest feedback because this is all on you guys. I need to know what you're thinking here. I thought it would be a good way to raise money for a charity. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Anyway, I'm going to go back here and get a log full of clay. It's starting to get dark. We need to turn the chandelier on there in the build and start putting this chinking in. And then we're going to bust up our blue shale and get that blue shale encrusted on the front. So I'm going to grab that real quick. We're going to get a little bit muddy right here. It's okay. Don't worry. We're washable. And then I'll be right back with you guys. We'll get up there, get some lights on, and keep getting this build going, right? Please share this out on Facebook, Twitter, any other social media pages. Let all your friends know we're in here. We could do a little bit more than 14 people, I think. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm looking for agreement. You guys know what I'm all about. If we can raise money for a charity and save some, whether it's whitetail or help out the elk or help out the polar bears or whatever the fuck it is that we can do, we'll raise money to do that. We ain't gonna raise money so old Huntsman can sit on his ass at home for 6 days a week watching Netflix, because I already watched everything on Netflix. I watched the 100 on Netflix. You guys ever seen that show? The 100 is a pretty good fucking survival show. There's some situations that happen in that show. Granted, it's spun off into fiction, but there's some leadership situations that in psychology that show up in the 100 that is worth considering. Like, if you was in that situation, what the fuck would you do? That's some rough stuff. Anyway, I gotta get this clay. It's getting dark. We gotta get the lights on. We gotta get the clay up here. We gotta start busting up some fucking shale. I gotta quit drinking moonshine and talking out my ass and get to work. So let me grab my log. I'll be right back, guys. They got a little bit more water in it than what I'd like. So what we're gonna do right here, guys, is I'm gonna go down to the creek here real quick and get washed up. Even though I'm gonna get muddy again. I'm gonna get washed up so we can get the lights hit, get them on so you guys can see what the hell it is I'm doing out here, because it is getting dark quick. We got a little bit of overcast tonight, so it's robbing us of at least maybe 15-20 minutes of light. I'm gonna get down here and wash up right quick, get the lights on, and keep on streaming. Give me 1 second. I just don't want to get all my gear all muddy and have to, scrub it all down when I get home. But we got plenty of lighting to keep on streaming here. Probably gonna have to get you guys hooked up with some power here soon too. So we get set up here a little bit closer to the build and get our lights on so we can all see what's happening here. It only take a sec to get set up with this. Oh, knew this was coming. So while I'm out here streaming, I do use a Rant LED light. That's what we usually set right in front of the camera, kind of lights things up like that. Very good lantern. Huntsman approved on the Rant collapsible lantern. We have the Bushcraft chandelier, which is a rechargeable. It's got a rechargeable port on it. This is a rechargeable light. It recharges on one side, but it also charges any of your electronics on the other side. It's got a magnetic top and a hook on it, and we got a hook inside the build, so we just hang this up. The light comes off the bottom, reflects off of the blue shell on our floor, lights up the inside of the shelter really nice. And our last one is our headlamp, and this is for the hike out. And you guys ever notice these headlamps with the little knot on the side there? They always turn. Like when they're in your backpack, this fucking thing turns, you look at your backpack and your damn light's on. I'm gonna start taping that thing down. So this is our chandelier. We're gonna get it hung up on the inside. We'll have our Rant LED lantern on the outside. We should be good to go. So there she is, the old Huntsman redneck chandelier. And it's getting dark. We're actually gonna be building here after dark, which is fine because we got light. Boom. It might not be the most clearest image, but we'll do what we can with what we got. All I'm gonna be doing is putting the clay in between the beams there. Needs prisms. We're gonna be putting the chinking in between the beams there and getting that sealed up and then encrusting it with clay. So that's all I'm doing. It's nothing big and fancy tonight, really. So I'm just gonna start doing that. This has a little bit more water in it than I'd like. I wish it was thicker, but like I said, it rained and this just came out wet as hell. I don't even know if it's gonna hold up, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up. Oh yeah, that's way too wet. That's just gonna melt on me. It's got way too much water in it. We can't get our footer on there, but we're gonna have to wait for the water to drain out of this. It's cause it's just gonna fall right out. I knew that if the rain had filled my pit in with water, I tried to drain it out before I mixed this shit up. And then I ran out of room. I had more water than I could fit in clay, and between running out of room and running out of time, we'll see what we can do though. We might be able to work it. There's some heavier pieces here at the bottom as the water's draining off of it. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like the consistency of it. It's just too damn wet. Consistency is everything when you're working with clay. I got some fibers in there that'll help keep it from cracking, but it's not going to help dry it out much. Working a little bit, but not as smooth as I wish it would. Obviously, going vertical like this, water is going to drain out the bottom. If I keep sort of pushing it up and leveling it out as it dries, it might turn out to the right consistency to encrust it really easily. I'm just rubbing it smooth on both sides as I go up. It's kind of stacking in between the beams. We'll see if we can get a better view here. Definitely might take a little bit longer than expected for it to dry. Our stone walls, they normally cured within about a week. This obviously ain't as much clay and it's not as heavy. I figure a couple of days this stuff will be pretty solid. And there ain't nothing pretty about working with clay either. You gotta get dirty. A lot of this clay will wash off of the beams. We're getting a pretty solid wall so far. Nope. So the chinking will stay in between, but it'll wash off the wood itself, which is good. It's going to give us a little bit different shade between the chinking itself and the wood. And then after our build is done, we are going to be going around doing a lot of detail work and shit like that. Where we're bringing out the grain of the wood, or we're highlighting the stone work or something like that. All that's going to be worked in a little bit later on. We definitely need to try to find a better view for you guys. You can barely see any of that shit. This is a hazard of streaming after dark, but there you can kind of see we have a solid wall going on, right? I mean, she's looking pretty good already. I mean, we only been working on it for like, what, 4 minutes? It's a matter of where to set the light while I'm doing this and not get it all fucking coated in clay. So right before I came out to work tonight, I don't want to call her name out. Adorable kid, bushcrafter. She's like 16, 17, I think she's 16. Dropped out of school to do bushcraft on YouTube. I got a problem with this. If my 16-year-old wanted to drop out of high school so she could do YouTube full-time, me and her would be having a conversation. But apparently her parents don't give a shit if she has an education or not. She can just be a YouTuber for the rest of her life. I did have a problem with that, and I left a comment on there, because she announced, or she tried to explain why she dropped out of school to be a full-time YouTuber at the age of 16. And basically it comes down to, I wasn't interested in school, I was interested in YouTube, so I'm just going to do YouTube. I don't know if it's just me or what, but I think that is a dumbass fucking idea, and her parents don't know. Yeah, I agree, Jess. If my kid ever tried to pull that shit, I'd slap him upside the fucking head and say, who's your actual dad? Because there's no way I gave fucking my sperm to something this goddamn stupid. So, obviously, as a father, which I am, I made a comment like, you know, just me being me, but this kid, 16 years old, her parents let her drop out of school so she could be a bushcrafter on YouTube. And I said, you know, that's just a typical mindset of your generation. And, you know, I totally get it. I can, you know, YouTube is just fucking great money. Their health benefits are absolutely wonderful. And the retirement package, how they match your 401k, is just unparalleled in the working environment. If you're not working for YouTube money, then you ain't really working. Dumb motherfucking people. Anyway, I got a bunch of people over there saying, you know what, it ain't really none of your business. She's a successful YouTuber. Yeah, she's a successful YouTuber at 16. How long does she think her YouTube career is going to last her? Now she's a high school dropout, and the only thing on her work resume is, I was a YouTuber. Not only are you uneducated now, but you're unhireable because you have no work experience. I mean, what the hell are you going to say if you have to go into, you know, factory work or any kind of traditional job? What is your work experience? Why should we hire you? Because you are a fucking YouTuber and a high school dropout? It is. It is a hobby and pocket change. How these, especially, now this is a 16-year-old kid. Obviously, she's a fucking walking hashtag. But, you know, you got grown-ass men doing the same fucking thing, thinking they're themselves as businessmen and entrepreneurs because of their fucking YouTube channels. And I'm just old school, man. If you don't have a traditional job, you're a fucking deadbeat piece of shit. And that's just my opinion. I ain't trying to force it on anybody. That's just how I would feel. If I'm unemployed, I feel like shit. And I don't consider YouTube employment. I don't know, man. I think she just set herself up for failure. Might be a few years down the road, but that girl just fucked herself dropping out of high school so she could be a YouTuber. And her parents are obviously fucking morons. I mean, they should have some sort of life experience that says, this probably isn't a good idea, honey. Eventually, you're going to have to pay bills and not rely on social media to pay your way through life. And in order to do that, in order to be hireable, in order to be valuable to an employer, you might want to have a little bit of fucking work experience, even if it's a part-time job. I totally get having a part-time job and being a YouTuber, but you have to have some sort of fucking traditional job, at least to keep your resume up to date. And I do apologize for missing everybody's comments while I'm smothering down this wall. I'm sure you have a lot to say on the issue too, but man. We fucking, and I've said it before, we've created a society where adolescence is allowed to go on forever. And a lot of it is these goddamn fucking millennial thinking parents trying to be cool, thinking, you know, okay, my little baby girl is making X amount of dollars on YouTube. She might be doing great right now, but it ain't gonna last forever. Yeah, that's my mindset, man. That's it. I don't know. I guess I was just raised different than these little motherfuckers. I don't get it. And I got people giving me negative feedback on there saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, you dumb motherfucker. If that was my daughter, I'd beat her ass. The fuck are you thinking? Alright, let me see if I can give you guys a little bit better look at this wall now. We got it. That one basket took us almost all the way up. Let me go up here a little bit. So there, we got a fairly solid wall. Not as pretty as I'd like it to be just because this damn clay was so fucking thin. I'm hoping when I pull out this next run will be a hell of a lot thicker because I got a little gap there at the top. You see that right there? I gotta get filled in. But we have a pretty cool run here. We do have a knot there we're gonna fill in. And again, I'll be washing off the logs themselves. I don't mind having casing on them. Gives them a little preservation. We'll bring out that wood grain a little bit later after this sets up. So just having it all smoothed out, you know, I don't have to worry about trying to keep it pretty. Right now, I can make it pretty later. So we just built us a solid wall there in a few minutes after dark on a stream. And what I'm going to try to do next is get this all adjusted where I can encrust some shale into the cracks, make some straight lines right into the cracks themselves, get some shale embedded into that clay, and see what it looks like. And before I do that, I got to get my hands washed off again because I don't want the shell covered in clay. I want it standing out. So we're going to take a little walk down to the creek real quick. I'm just going to run down there real fast, wash my hands off, and then we'll bust up this shale and try to fit it in the cracks while this is still wet and see if it holds up. So 1 second, guys, I will be right back. Try to give you a little bit better view while I'm away here of the build. And just give me 1 second, talk amongst yourselves. One more time, share this out on Twitter, Facebook, let everybody know we're streaming right now, and we're gonna go for a little bit longer. Try to get some blue shell and crust it into these beams here after dark, get us another sip of moonshine before we do that. So I will be right back with you in a second, guys. Ooh, I can smell deer urine off in the distance. One of those boys out there ain't liking that I'm down here after dark. I'm gonna move back down here to the moonshine still. Ugh. There we are. We're just gonna sit up here and have a sip and a smoke real quick before I go and get fucked up with that blue shale. Try to set this up a little bit better. There we go. So, yeah. Man, that's dark as shit. It is a dark night out here tonight. Here we are working after dark. So, we got the clay on there almost all the way up to the top. I do need to bring up a little bit more clay. I'm going to let this set up just a little bit, let some of that water drain off so I got something to stack on top of. But we will be all the way up to the beam on that side. Experimenting tonight with encrusting it with blue shale, and that's just to give it a nice false front surface, kind of a textured surface, and it's going to brighten things up a little bit. I think we're going to try it out and see what happens. Anyway, going back to what we was talking about there, that young kid who just dropped out of high school, 16 years old, dropped out of high school because she wants to pursue a bushcraft career on YouTube. Now, she does have a pretty good following. But like any girl on YouTube, I'm sure some of her, the majority of her following is some creepy ass old motherfucking men. Man, I can't get over how many fucking grown ass men are out there, just fucking making up fake profiles so they can stalk these goddamn young girls in the outdoors community. It happens to Hannah, and her dad are good friends of mine. We talk behind the scenes of everything. I'll make sure that I have all, permission and everything from them before I do anything. And I actually knew Jeff before I knew Hannah. But Hannah's been awesome for my channel. Having her blessing with helping promote her content. Like she needs my help promoting her content. But that fair trade, that's one thing. If you're just networking and you actually have respect for the people, that's one thing. But there's a lot of fucking fake profiles out there, grown ass men, probably in their fucking 40s, and fat, stalking all these goddamn young outdoors women, and then they wonder why they ended up, getting frustrated and dropping out because they had to put up with all these fucking insane comments from people that think that this shit's cute. I don't know. I watched this kid. She's got some talent. She's one of she probably got inspired by Little Joey or TA Outdoors, something like that. But now these guys have led her to believe that she can drop out of high school and do what they do. And again, that's just something I don't agree with. But I was raised different. I was raised different from the whole get. Growing up on a farm, it was all work all the time. It's just something that's ingrained into you. You're always doing something. You're trying to grow something, you know. And you know, my parents were like, you have to have work. And there's been times in my life when I didn't have work and I felt like shit in those circumstances. Other people don't have work and they're completely fine with that. And I think it's a lot to do with how you're raised, and what your background is, and what your parents are really like. My dad was a dick, and then I grew up to be a grumpy old dick. No, you know, no mystery there. But my mom's a sweetheart. Never really has a bad day. And she has that really simple country life, living on the same plot of farmland that I grew up on. Yeah, don't quit school. Oh man. You know, I hated high school. I sucked at high school. But in high school, I was really heavy into martial arts. All the way through junior high and high school, I was really fucking heavy into martial arts. And I was a scrapper. Man, I got in fights almost every fucking day after school, and I got expelled a lot. I mean, I was a piece of shit in high school, for real. People were, I had this guy, first time it happened, this kid named, what the fuck was his name? God damn, I can't even remember the kid's name now. I could picture his face, but I can't remember that fucker's name. Anyway, I had this damn kid come up to me one time. We had this little break after lunch. And he said he was going to get into a fight after school. These three guys were going to jump him. And he goes, I'll give you $20 if you take my place. I said, they going to let me take your place? He's like, probably. He goes, you just go out there and instead of me and take care of it, and I'll give you $20. And then, you know, back in high school, this would have been my sophomore year of high school. That was good money. So, Jason Blair, that's what his name was, Jason fucking Blair. Always getting into trouble. Couldn't fucking fight his way out of a paper bag. So he hired me to do it. So, I get it, you know, Jason, you know, gives me this $20, and now I'm obligated. I go up to these three guys, all of them bigger than I was, and they had already heard that I was going to fight in Jason's stead. They were okay with it, but somebody had to get their ass whipped for whatever it was that Jason did to offend them. So, you know, the leader of the little group asked me if I really wanted to do it, and I took a step towards him, just a half a step towards him, and I said, yeah. Well, when I took a half a step right towards him, he took a half step back. Dumb motherfucker tripped on his shoelace. I never touched the kid. But everybody that had gathered around just seen him fall flat on his fucking back. I swear I never laid a hand on him. He lands flat on his back. His head hits the fucking pavement, because we're standing on the sidewalk right on the side of the road. So when he took a step back, he kind of went down that little curb there, you know. Busted his own ass. Everybody starts yelling and cheering like I done fucking gave this kid a haymaker. And I didn't do shit. He's fucking out of it on the ground, holding his little fucking head and shit. I'm like, God damn, son, if a little bump like that on the back of your head hurts you, I can imagine what a little bump on the front part of your head does. I didn't have to do anything. But from that day on, man, I done knocked the fuck out of a kid that outweighed me by 100 fucking pounds, and just put him flat on his fucking back, and nobody even seen. I was so fast, they never even seen how it happened. And then you know how the story plays out after that. And every time somebody tells that story, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I didn't have to do shit. But that started my reputation off in high school, and I started fighting. I was fighting behind bars and alleyways, you know, before I was 18. And because I was underage, I could go out there and scrap, and I really wouldn't get in trouble for it. But yeah, good fucking times growing up. But we grew up in a small town. Even if the fucking cops did get called for scrapping, you know, they really weren't going to do nothing. They expect your parents to take care of that shit. And my dad was the type that, well, if you get in trouble and you fight your way out of it, you're not in trouble anymore. So that was a good rule of thumb. But that's just how we were raised. We took care of our own shit. Our parents were too fucking busy to be dealing with fucking childhood drama, and there was no fucking safe space. The safe space only came after somebody got knocked the fuck out. And after somebody got knocked the fuck out, chances are you guys are going to be best buds for years after that. That's how we worked out our problems back in the day. These days, it's just, I don't know. Somebody gets their little feelings hurt and they have to go shoot up the whole school. Dumb motherfuckers. Somebody hurts your little feelings, just go and punch him in the fucking throat. That shit'll stop. But we were raised different. We were raised to scrap. And not just scrap in school and scrap with other people. We were scrappers at work, you know. It all came down to code. It came down to this, the way you carry yourself and the way you think, the way you feel, the way you behave. Whether it was working on the farm with dad, you know, chewing your ass out, or going to school and having to hold your fucking own, that's just how we did it. And it became this way, that was just our way of life. It became this unspoken, unwritten list of rules of how a man should fucking act. And the only time I ever got my ass whooped, well, I was 16 and my dad did it. I mouthed off to my mom. And mouthing off to mom was one thing. But whenever you start walking towards mom, that's a whole different scenario. Now, mouthing off to mom, my dad was, you know, did not like anybody disrespecting my mom. But if you mouth off, mom's going to mouth off right back to you, and chances are she's going to knock you on your ass. But I'm getting a little bit older now, so mom is getting a little bit more, well, I can't bust your ass, and I can't really send you to your room. What am I supposed to do with you type situation that all parents are going to have to go through. But I took a step towards my mom after mouthing off to her, and my dad happened to see me, and he came out like a fucking Mack truck, and got me in a headlock. And he had me in this vice grip of a fucking headlock, and he took my head and rammed me like a battering ram into our front door. And our front door was this big ass heavy oak door. He rammed my head into that fucking door for taking a step towards my mom until the top of my head needed 6 stitches, and I was out fucking cold. And then he threw me out unceremoniously onto the fucking front porch and left me there. Head busted open. For all I knew, my fucking brain was leaking out. He had fucking rammed my head so hard into that door. And I remember my mom coming out, and she started trying to wake me up because he knocked me the fuck out cold, ramming my head into that door for mouthing off to my mom. And my mom comes out there. She's crying now. She's on my side now, even though I mouthed off to her. And she's just concerned, wanting to get me to the hospital, half pissed off at Dad. And so she loads me up in the truck. She threw me in the back of the truck because she didn't want me bleeding on the seat. So I'm riding in the back of the pickup truck with my head busted open, crying like a little girl. Dad stayed home. Fuck that kid. He got what he deserved. We get to the hospital. I get stitched up, goes back home. And then my dad said, if you disrespect your mom like that, you'll disrespect every single woman that comes after her. And we've got to cut it off right now. Which is why I did what I did. It was nothing personal. It was just to reset your fucking brain and put it back where it was supposed to be. And that stuck with me. Obviously, it'd been drilled into my head. So, from that day on, I had this certain perspective of women. Like, it's almost a fear because of that incident. Now, it could be completely unrelated, but there's this sense that you just don't fucking mouth off to women like that. Dad drilled that into my head by pounding my fucking top of my head into an oak door until I was knocked the fuck out, and then he threw me out like, fuck you. So now, you know, I grow up, and I see how guys talk to women now, and I kind of want to fucking ram their head into a fucking oak door, you know. So there's that too. I mean, it all comes around. Whatever gets passed down to you, you're going to end up passing it on down whether you want to or not. And you might think you're one way growing up, but chances are you're going to turn into your fucking parents, just like me turning into the asshole that I am today. Half the time acting just like my dad. You gotta fucking work. You don't back talk to fucking women. And you sure as fuck don't drop out of school to be a full-time YouTuber. dropping out of fucking high school to be a YouTuber. That was the most insane shit. And she was trying to justify it on her channel, and she had everybody in her comment section backing her, thinking that this was a bright idea, except for me. I don't know how the fuck you're gonna reinforce that kind of fucking thinking. And consider yourself an adult. Anyway, let's get back up here to the build a little bit. My rant for the evening. Fucking kids, man. My kids ain't gonna be raised that way. Ooh, no fucking way. I don't think so, you little bastard. You better get your ass to school and start fighting like I did. Ugh. It's, actually, let's go inside here. We're gonna be working on the inside here for a minute so we can bust up this shale. I think we can set that up there and get plenty of light. Had to come in here on the stone floor. I'm going to be using the stone floor in here inside the structure to bust this shell up in kind of small pieces about the size of a dime. American dime, for those of you who might not be from the States. We're going to try to bust it up like that and then encrust that wall right quick. So let me get a pile of that crushed up and we'll move on. Blue shale is obviously very brittle. It breaks up like nothing. We use it to line the inside of our floor, and once we get our floor swept off, it ought to work out pretty good. But we're not even going to use a hammer. We're just going to use the backside of the axe to bust up this shell, get us a nice little pile. And see what it looks like on the outside of the build. So we just turn this around here like so. Here we go, brighten that up some. And we're just going to bust that piece of shell up, just tapping it with the hammer. Don't even have to tap it very hard, we just need to bust it up into smaller pieces. Get all this trash out of the way. So, oh, we got a low power mode. So I guess before I start busting the shell up, I'm gonna go ahead and plug you guys in so we can keep streaming. We got our battery pack right there. It's just a recharge pack. So far, so good. Let me see if I can locate my cords here. There we are. 1 second. There we are. Get you guys plugged in here real quick. There we are. Should be good now. Now at least give us one charge. I don't know how long we're going to stream here at the camp tonight. See how that just breaks apart just like that? Just real light taps and it just busts up. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We're just breaking that down into smaller pieces, and then when we get to the inside, actually that's going to be a little bit cleaner than the out. And that's what we're going to use to encrust our outer wall with. And what we're doing it on the inside of the shelter, we're actually not making a mess inside the shelter because all of our cracks in here are filled in with this same blue shale. So whatever's left over, we just scoop off into the cracks. It's a win-win. A little bit bigger pieces like that ain't gonna be too much of a problem, I don't think, because we are embedding it inside the clay. it's echoing through the woods. It sounds weird at night. Alright, we got a little bit there. Let's see if we can get this put on the wall. Move back out here and I'll grab some. And we'll just keep going. Ugh. Turn y'all around here. Again, trying to build after dark is a pain in the ass. Just getting some of the pieces together here, guys. Now we'll see if we can give you a little bit better view, even if we have to bust out the other light. It's all about angles with the lighting at this point. Yeah, let's bust out the headlamp and see if we can do it like that. I can see just fine, but I can also tell there on the screen that not much is getting picked up by the iPhone camera. So it's just a matter of bringing the light out here and keeping it going. So we'll see if I can put this on. And yeah, a little bit better. Keep going like that. Now all I'm doing right here, if I can get this shit untwisted. This is the fun part of a live stream. I gotta be honest, this is the fun part of a live stream. Like, you don't know what fucking state your gear's in. You don't know what's gonna happen. Everything is unpredictable. You don't know what the fuck I'm gonna say when I start drinking moonshine. That's the fun part. There ain't no script. So you don't know how it's gonna play. Okay, so I'm trying to show you guys this. I'm gonna turn this around so I can see what you're seeing. And I'll actually be using the phone to do this with. So here we go. All right, so we got our beams there, and we got our chinking in between. That's a good solid wall. Back up here a little bit. There we are. Oh, let me catch up on the chat there. All right, so we got a good solid wall. We can tell where our chinking is at compared to where our beams are at. And we're just going to start taking this blue shale and pushing it in between and sinking it down into that clay without burying it in the clay and kind of covering it. So, let me see. This is awkward as fuck. We'll start down here at the bottom, obviously. And this might be better if we did this during a morning stream, but here we are at night. Bushcraft building. I'm going to try to widen that beam out a little bit so it's not... There we go. You guys see that okay? Kind of get the gist of what we're doing anyway. Me explaining it to you. We're just taking blue shale and a little bit smaller than that. We're going to go a little bit like that. And start encrusting that blue shale. See how that lights up right there? Into that clay. Into the chinking of the clay. So we want that kind of pushed in where it's not just going to fall off the first time it rains. Just kind of embedding all of this shit into the clay. It's going to give us a nice false front. You can see how it pushes that, also pushes that chinking back into the beams themselves. So I'm just going to be doing that all the way up. I do the larger pieces, but I can do this smaller here. And it's just encrusting that clay with the blue shale to kind of lighten it up a little bit and give us a bit of a false front on the structure. So we're going to end up with, when we get this all cleaned off, will have this blue shale encrusted outer shell with some larger pieces in there just for shits and giggles, and then the wood itself will be exposed to give us that wood grain pattern. So you're kind of blending stone and wood together into the same pattern just by crushing that stone up and pushing it right into that clay. It might slow down the drying process a little bit though, because that's going to hold water, but that's what we're doing right now, is just encrusting it all the way up and just following the crack. It's going to be uneven, it's not going to be perfect, but nothing about our build is supposed to be perfect. We want it off, we want it looking unique and different, and this is some Art Deco type shit. Now lazy me would just say, you know, we got a whole fucking floor full of crushed clay already, we'll just take it off the floor and shove it in there. But then I'd have to fill the floor back in, and I didn't get myself anywhere. And again, this is experimental, which is why we're doing it on a small wall first. We don't know how this is going to hold up, or if the clay is actually going to hold it, or if it's just going to erode and fall right off. We don't know, but we're trying it. And if it needs a little tender love and care over time, that's one thing. But if we can get this clay to kind of form around all of this blue shale and hold it up there for a year or two, all the better. I'm sorry about it being so dark here, guys. Let me see if I can focus this a little bit. So kind of getting the gist of it, where I'm just embedding that blue shale into the clay right there, right? Doing it after dark is probably not the best idea, but that's what we're doing. And it wouldn't be nothing for me to come back out tomorrow morning and just put a soft layer on that and try to encrust it then, which might be a better idea than streaming here after dark, but that's what we're doing. So what we're going to end up with is wood grain, and then this blue line, kind of squiggly line going up the wall, following the chinking all the way across. So that's just what we're doing. Now from a distance in the daytime, this is going to be something to see. It's going to give it a very unique look. It's not going to look like just your cookie cutter build, but what about this build does? Let's step back here a little bit. I want to see something else here. This is something, I'm trying to light my way with the headlamp here. This is something that I really haven't done, where I just step back away from the build. Look how dark that is. Stepping back away from the build to see what it looks like here in the dark. It is so damn dark in there. So we're going to take all the lights that we got in there and try to light that up and see what it looks like. Man, not really great on the iPhone, I gotta tell you. I can see just fine, but the iPhone don't want to pick up shit. It's even blurry when I get close. Look at that. I might have something on the lens there. Whew. Anyway, like I said, I can see just fine out here, but it's hard to capture it on camera whenever you're out here at night, which is one of the challenges you run into whenever you're doing overnighters, is everything's all fine and dandy until you get to the night part. back up in here. The light reflects a little bit better in here, so we'll go ahead and stream in here for a little bit. Ooh. So we got another wall closed in there, and started encrusting it with the blue shale. It's just hard to capture it here on the live stream. Like I said, I can see just fine, but getting it to where you guys can see it and it actually makes sense in video format is another challenge altogether. So hanging out here in the build a little bit. I don't even know what the hell I did with my cookser. 1 second, I gotta track down my shit. I probably should have started streaming a little bit earlier tonight, but with everything happening with Bailey and all the other shit going on, can you hear that, long-haired? That's music, isn't it? It's the perfect kind of music. Everything that happened with the dogs and stuff on the home front, getting a new puppy and having to train it and not wanting to leave it alone at the house until we got the crate, cut down my getting out here to the woods time. And then, of course, going back to the same old, any fucking grown-ass adult should have a goddamn grown-ass adult job. My job has got me running ragged here lately. We got one guy on vacation, so I'm taking up the slack on that, which is fine because I am more than happy to take his money from him. But that also means less time out in the woods because working a day job. Yes, it is peaceful. We're actually going to be going on a night hike here in a minute. We're going to actually get out of the shelter, away from camp. We're going to be sitting up out there. I talked about it. Let me get some more shine. I talked about it before in the Huntsman series about being out in the woods. I have no survival gear with me tonight, guys. I have a knife, axe, saw. I guess you can consider that survival gear, but I don't have no med kit. I don't have no fire starting tools aside from my lighter. That's a flint and steel. I can't really say I have no gear tonight because I do have shit on me, the building material stuff or filming material stuff. But I mentioned it, you know, being out in the woods at night and turning all this shit off and just listening to the forest and experiencing nature, which is what you're out here to do. I'm out here building a shelter right now. Happens to be a fairly fancy shelter. The purpose of this shelter is to put a barrier between me and what the fuck is going on out there, whether it's weather or animals or heat, cold, all that shit. I'm trying to block nature out. So there's the rub. You come out into the wilderness to experience nature, and then the first fucking thing you do is cut nature off. And you call that bushcrafting and survival. It ain't. It's comfort. So what we're going to be doing here tonight is we are going to go off into the woods. We are going to get fairly deep into the woods. And then we're going to turn the lights out while we're live streaming for about 2-3 minutes just to experience the woods at night for a couple of minutes. That's all it takes to capture on film. And then we'll turn the headlamp on so you guys can see kind of what I'm seeing, but no lanterns, no bright lights, just the headlamp. And you guys can walk with me through the woods here at night, and I'll kind of shut the fuck up a little bit just so you can hear the sounds of what's around me, my footfalls, the animals. If something rushes off, I won't be talking and it kills the audio. So that's what we're going to be doing here after I finish this cigar. Now, I have quite a few subscribers to the channel. We're getting ready to wrap this build up. We got 2 sections left to do as far as the wood work goes, and then we're closing in the fireplace. Yeah, the fireplace is going to be the next big project. I got to haul all the damn stone up here for that. So we got this section closed in here tonight. We're going to be, I'll fill in the rest of that chinking here in a bit. I'll come back out for an earlier live stream, probably tomorrow, to finish this wall off as far as that encrusting goes, encrusting it with blue shale. And then we'll get a good look at it in the daylight so we can actually see how this is turning out as far as design goes. But that's just, you know, encrusting it with blue shale. One, it lightens up. It gives us a reflective surface on the outside. So if we have a fire on the outside, it's going to reflect off of that wall, the light. And it's just another layer of protection on the outer wall. But that's if the clay holds it. This is completely experimental. Encrusting your chinking with blue shale is just superficial bullshit, but we like to be fancy about it. And we're trying to build a storybook inspired cottage here. It's not supposed to look like a bushcraft shelter. It's supposed to look like a witch's cabin in the woods. Add a little imagination to the outdoors. But along with imagination, you know, comes the responsibility of what we're doing here too. I am manipulating the entire area around the camp. It's not just this build. We've landscaped 4 acres of land here. We brought in blackberry bushes, which are native to the woods. They're growing on the south end, but not up here. But we did transplant blackberry bushes closer to the camp to try to get them where you have easy access to a food source. Plus, it also helps out the white-tailed deer with a food source. And it gives us a barrier on the south side of our camp. Kind of a natural fence. The whitetail will come up through it, but a lot of other things will avoid it. We gotta get wood stacked in here so we can start drying out and sort of seasoning, so we have wood for the winter already processed and ready to go, so you guys don't have to see me come out here and process wood every time I want to light a fire. We're manipulating a lot, and we're trying to bend nature with this build. Well, we're making a hybrid build here where we're merging wood and stone by using clay. I mean, it's all glued together with clay. And some plant fibers in there. The roof has cellulose stalks in it, cellulose-filled stalks in it, so it's a great layer of insulation on the roof, and the roof don't leak now, but we still have a couple of hey, we got a skull to put on the build. When we get the door built, I'll actually be bringing out a deer skull to hang on the front door. I can't remember which subscribers suggested that, but yeah, props to them. I also got to give a shout out to Bushcraft Connection, which is a Facebook group, and they got quite a few people in that group. I should probably give them a shout out at the beginning of the stream. Anyway, I was in the group Bushcraft Connection, and you know, trying to share the build and the live streams and stuff like that with them, and get word out that we're doing this kind of project, and we're trying to take a little bit different spin on the outdoors experience. We're not coming out here doing your cookie cutter shit. It's just something new. It's a whole new take on the outdoors thing. And I just have a different approach. I have a different life philosophy. You don't, whether you like me, love me, or hate me, it really don't matter. It's just different. But Bushcraft Connection is one of the many fucking Facebook groups that I'm in. I was sharing content with them, and they have always been fairly supportive of the channel. Of course, networking on Facebook is a pain in the ass all the way around because it really don't get you nowhere. You might get 1 or 2 subscribers, but a lot of people just don't click on the videos over there. I mean, because you can see the analytics on every fucking thing you share. It could be seen by 150, 200 people. It could be seen by 10,000 people, and only 20 of them actually clicked on it. And that's individual preference. And a lot of it's what the fucking thumbnail looks like, right? I get a lot more traffic from Reddit, and I actually get a lot of traffic from Gmail, where subscribers are getting notifications from the channel inside their Gmail, and they can watch right inside Gmail rather than coming to the channel. Anyway, yeah, working with Bushcraft Connection has been a great experience for me. There's a lot of people in that group. It's a great group of guys and a lot of various different approaches to the outdoors. A lot of the guys that are in that fucking group probably hate my guts, just like any group that I go to. I got to build like this, and there's this unspoken kind of competition of who has the biggest fucking bushcraft build. And I don't do that. I'm doing this. I have different motivations for this kind of build. This build here is inspired by a completely different story. It ain't about outdoing nobody. It ain't about being bigger, better, really. Uh, Anybody that knows the story behind the channel knows the inspiration behind doing this particular build. If you paid attention, you know why I'm building a cottage instead of just a survival shelter. I don't think anybody could top outdoor building more than TA Outdoors. I make fun of TA Outdoors because now that little son of a bitch is going out and purchasing materials to do his builds with. So he's not harvesting from nature anymore. He's not going out bushcrafting anymore. He's actually going out and buying materials, taking it to a private lot, and then building his structures. Everybody thinks it's still outdoors survival and bushcraft, but he's actually kind of putting kits together, taking out to the woods, and then putting the kit together on film, which is fine. But I don't think anybody's going to outdo his builds. The Saxton house, the Viking house, the longhouse that he built, all of that shit. It's kits that he's putting together and taking out to the woods to put together. But they're impressive builds nonetheless. I'm not motivated like that. I'm doing this build as in memory of something else entirely. So, and there's a lot of me into this build too. I'm just colorful like that. I have a little bit more imagination than some of these little fucking young ass kids out there dropping out of high school to be a YouTuber. Or quitting their job to be a YouTuber. Joe Robinette did that. Joe Robinette had a fucking government job and quit a government job to be a YouTuber. Think the government will hire him back after he told him that was his reason for leaving? Dumbasses, man. We talked about on and on tonight. We talked about different situations and about your code of conduct. Country boy code of conduct. At least American country boys know how to work their fucking ass off, know how to talk to women, and know how to man up and take care of your own fucking business and not need a safe space or a goddamn moderator. That's one of the big problems that I have working in social media. Is everybody wants to go crybaby bullshit to moderators. Oh, he's doing this, or oh, he said that, or oh, he hurt my little feelings. I'm in Facebook jail right now because I violated community guidelines. That's some bullshit. Like, you don't have freedom of speech anymore, and if you do think that you have freedom of speech, you're full of shit. You can't say what you're actually thinking or feeling. You have to lie to them to make them feel better about what they're saying and feeling. That's just the state of the world. It's not, nothing changes in the country. Nothing changes in a country boy mindset. You are what you are, and I'm too fucking old to change anyway. You fucking work for a living. You earn your fucking money the hard way. You come home bloody sometimes. You're always fucking tired. And the only counter that you got to it is some moonshine, bourbon, and cute little dogs. But you go on and you don't bitch about it. Even whenever Courtney and I was having trouble and, you know, we was running towards divorce, I didn't get on fucking social media and act like a crybaby little bitch about it. But, you know, I'm going through a divorce with my, heading towards divorce with my wife. And her and I have been together a decade now. I'm going left, she's going right. We can't seem to find common ground. So it came down to, you know, maybe we should get a divorce. So what'd she do? She takes the truck and she takes the dogs and she leaves. Very unceremoniously, by the way. And there wasn't a lot of negativity around it. It was just we needed time apart. So she took the girls, and I'm sitting there at the house by myself. She's got the truck, so I don't have transportation. And my solution to this situation that I found myself in was shut down on social media. Don't be bitching about it on social media, and walk your fucking ass to work. Because that's the only thing you got to depend on right now. Your relationship is not dependable in the given circumstances. So that's what I was doing. And I was trying to take this experience and turn it into a lesson, you know, trying to pass on whatever the fuck I was going through so somebody else didn't go through it themselves. But I was walking to work every day, and it was taking me 2.5, 3 hours to get to work, rain or shine. My ass is out there walking to get to work to punch that fucking time clock on time. Uh, that's something a lot of people wouldn't do. You know, they break up with somebody or they're going through a divorce or something like that, and they fold up, and they just fold up into this fucking fetal position and lay down on the floor and act like a little fucking baby and want to bitch and moan to everybody who will listen. And me, I'm like, I'm not gonna bitch about it. I'm just gonna go to fucking work. That's the code of conduct. I'm not gonna say anything bad about my wife, no matter what situation we get into. You're never gonna hear me badmouth Courtney for anything. The woman's just done too goddamn much to be badmouthed. And she got guns. She'd probably shoot my ass. If she's gonna shoot anybody, it's gonna be me. She'd probably be justified. But Courtney's paid her dues. Even if her and I were to get a divorce, I could never, in good conscience, say anything negative about her. I know what I am, and I know that living with me is no fun. Jesus Christ, just being friends with me is no fun. But the ones that like me love me. And the ones that don't, their fucking revenue. Which is fine. That's my spin. That's my YouTube gimmick. Like, I come out with minimal gear all the time. I'm sitting out here in the middle of the fucking night with a couple of lanterns, smoking a backwoods cigar, which is against YouTube community guidelines now. Nickel and dime. How you doing, buddy? And I'm drinking fucking moonshine, which is against YouTube community guidelines now. Out of a fucking kooksa, which is just a wrong fucking culture to be drinking moonshine out of. I should have my rock bottom glass out here. This live stream alone, you guys that have been with me on this live stream, we have broken every fucking rule there is to break on YouTube. I still ain't getting kicked off of it. I still ain't getting demonetized. I'm still getting super chats from those who like me, because those who like me love me, and those that don't can't stop me. So here we are. Yeah, we got us some midnight moonshine. We're sitting here at the cottage build. We did not get much work done tonight, aside from getting a good buzz on, but that's just how we roll. Sometimes it's not about the build, and I want to get that message out to YouTubers too. I mean, if you're in the outdoors, sometimes it's not about the build. Sometimes you just need to hang out with your friends and your subscribers. At least my subscribers are some of, the best friends that I have. Yeah, Jefferson, we talked about that earlier in the stream, how my dad, whenever I backtalked my mom and my dad, put me in a fucking headlock and knocked me the fuck out. Just because a relationship changes does not mean that it has to end. And just because you break up, doesn't mean you have to take it all fucking personal and shit. Most of the time it ain't personal, and most of the time it's your fucking fault. People don't want someone else to blame. And you see that all through the world. It's always somebody else's fault. It's not that you're a crybaby piece of shit. It's that, something's wrong with her, or she's a whore, or, he's a dick, or whatever the situation, however you want to spin it to make yourself look better. Nobody is honest anywhere when they fuck up. It's always somebody else's fault. Now, when me and Courtney when we were getting close to divorce there, when we were getting close to divorce, I didn't have nothing bad to say about her. I did have some commentary for myself. I'm a dick. I'm hard to live with. And I'm a grumpy old man now. Just like my dad. Which I never wanted to grow up to be, but that's what happened. But I don't really feel like I'm justified. I feel like I don't have to be justified for my attitude problem. I look at the world, and I look at the state of manhood today, and I'm fucking disgusted. The way guys talk to women and the way they behave like fucking women, some of them even think they're women now. all that shit was alien concept to me when I was younger, and it still fucking is. I still don't. If you would have tried to explain it to me when I was 18 and trying to explain it to me now, you're gonna get the same fucking result. Like, a man's a man, a woman's a woman. You act like a fucking nothing is ever fucking okay. You're always gonna piss somebody off, and I'm completely okay with that. I'm not trying to buy friends, and I don't want to come out here to the woods, sitting in my cottage, trying to pretend that I'm something that I'm not, just for subscribers, or just so I can sell you guys on, hey, I'm a good person. Is not a good guy. All the way around, I am not a good guy, by any stretch of the imagination. I'm getting a buffering now. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't even know if we froze up. There for a second, we paused, and now I'm getting this buffering signal on my end. I don't know if you guys are getting it or not. The only thing I can sell you guys, David, is authenticity. I can't come out here and pretend to be PG-13 whenever in my personal life I'm cussing, drinking, and smoking. I can't come out here and try to talk like a city boy whenever I grew up on a fucking farm 7 miles from the nearest little fucking town. I just can't. I can't come up with a false front that I would be willing to try to uphold. And I see a lot of people doing that. I know some of the boys that I watch on YouTube do not act and talk and behave like they do on their channels. That they're trying to put up that false front because they think that Joe Robinette's formula is the winning ticket. That they're going to be the next Robinette, or they're going to be the next TA Outdoors, or they're going to be the next Survival Lily. Whoever the fuck would want to be like her, I need a drink. And they're just trying to get over on YouTube, and they think by copying the style of these other people, that's what's going to get them over. But with guys like me, I'm just too old to fake it to make it. So I'm going to come out here, and I'm going to be myself, and whoever likes it, and whoever don't can go back to watching little Dora the Explorer channels. And I'm completely okay with that. I am not for everybody. I am not trying to be for everybody. I'm trying to be for the people that grew up and think just like I do. I'm not a one-of-a-kind guy. There's a whole fucking community of people out there that think and talk and drink and smoke and have the same life philosophy that I do. And they might... Dixie, we're going to get to the puppy in the next live stream. I'm going to actually be leaving camp here. We're going to go on a little hike. We're going to hang out in the woods. And then we're going to go back. I'm going to get back home. I'll get everything recharged. And we're going to be doing a late night live stream tonight where you guys can see my pup. It's going to be late, though. I don't even know what the fucking time it is. For me, it's either daytime or nighttime. It's only 9 o'clock. We're doing good. But yeah, there is a whole community of people out there. We're a dying breed. And social media is killing us off a little bit faster because everybody's trying to fake it to make it. But I'm not one of a kind. I'm not an anomaly. There's guys out there that think a lot rougher than I do. Those are the guys that I respect. Tom Ritter. I don't know if he's still with us or not. Tom Ritter was in here earlier tonight. Tom's an older fella now. And I respect that man more than Joe Robinette, and I always will, because Tom Ritter grew up in the world that I know. Tom Ritter grew up cowboy, just like I did. He talks slow, and he thinks about what he says to the point where if he says that you're a fucking idiot, he wasn't trying to insult you. That's just what he sees. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, it's honesty. You have to be honest with people. If somebody fucks up, don't hesitate to say. And if I fuck up, don't hesitate to say, man, you fucked up. Honesty is what builds friendship. Not trying to sell people on bullshit. I always want you guys to be honest with me, with your feedback, with your comments. Don't hold anything back with me, because you cannot hurt my feelings. You cannot insult me. I am not going to report you or any of that other crybaby bullshit. It just is what it is. You are who you are. You think what you think, and I completely respect that. I also expect the same out of you. I'm a dick. I'm not for everybody. I was raised country. I have a cowboy mindset where I really don't give a fuck about a lot of things. And I could probably count on one hand the shit that I can depend on. Work, love, country music, moonshine, and my dogs. That's 5. After that, life gets a little bit more challenging to try to find answers to. I'm never going to come out here and try to fake it to you guys to go over on YouTube and I can drop out of school and YouTube can be my career. Death and taxes. Anybody that's not monetized on YouTube, do you know that you have to pay taxes on your revenue at the end of the year? So the more money you make, the more money they take. So, like me, I have a small YouTube channel. The money that I make on YouTube, I have to pay taxes on. I also have a day job, which is why I don't put out big-time content. Chances are I would have to take money from my day job tax return to pay the taxes on YouTube. So it's a no-win situation as far as money goes for me. And then I see that fucking 16-year-old kid out there who dropped out of high school to be a full-time YouTuber. And I was like, Jesus Christ, kid, what the fuck did you just do to your life? And everybody in her comment section was like, hey, great job. You're awesome. I love you. You know, you'll be fine. And I'm like, no, you won't. 20 years from now, you're going to regret this decision. But can't tell her no different right now. And you can't tell her subscribers no different because they're brainwashed into the same thinking. That you don't have to have a job anymore. You don't have to have a traditional job anyway. You don't really, you know, you can find a way to fucking, or find some group of subscribers to pay your way through life for you. Even the super chats. I got one hell of a super chat there tonight. That goes to, you know, obviously this shit ain't free. I try to work it into my schedule as best I can. Coming out here producing this shit, streaming on an iPhone, that takes data, that costs money. You know, even what I'm doing costs money to do. Buying the gear, the time invested, all of that shit, it does cost money. And I got a couple of pieces of gear that I'm really wanting to get for winter. That's going to change the feel of things a little bit, make things a little bit more me. And I'm trying to get the money together for that. But I'm trying to do that the hard way. I'm sure as fuck not going to start cranking out content to try to earn YouTube money to get it. No. A guy took vacation at work, and I said, give me his fucking hours because I want to go buy a new coat for winter, you know. And I hope that translates over into my channel. I mean, no matter what I do on YouTube or how big my YouTube channel gets, I want to keep my fucking dignity. And that's going to come down to my life philosophy, how I was raised, and how you guys respond to me. You guys got to keep me in check. Just like earlier in the stream when we started talking about the deal that I have with Indestructible Shoes. They're going to send me a pair of shoes. I'm going to wear them out here at camp. I'm going to wear them out hiking. I'm going to wear them out hunting. I'm going to wear them in all seasons, all weather conditions, all terrains. If they work out, then I can suggest those shoes to you guys. You can go out and get you a pair, and I can save you 20% off. The commissions that I make off of those sales, anybody that uses my code, is donated to a charity that we as a community on the Huntsman channel will donate. So it's not just me donating to the World Wildlife Federation or whatever charity that we come up with as a group, as a family. That will be right in the community section of the channel. I'll take suggestions from everybody for about a week on my different social media accounts and right here on the channel, right here in the live streams. Get your guys' feedback on what you think that we should donate this money to, and then as a family, we're going to send the money that we make on this deal with Indestructible Shoes to that charity. So it's a group effort. If you guys go out and buy yourselves a pair of Indestructible Shoes and you use my code, you get your 20% off. That 20% is donated to the charity that we chose together. So we're coming together as a team to try to raise money for a charity rather than turning YouTube into a profit so I can drop out of high school, quit my fucking day job, and just sit at home and watch Netflix 6 days out of the week and come out here and film for one. We're not going to do that because we have our fucking dignity. And the world is losing its fucking dignity. That's the goddamn problem I have. That's what makes me such a cranky old bastard. Nobody has no sense of fucking integrity anymore. Nobody knows how to act like a fucking man or act like a lady. It's few and far between. You find somebody that's still got their fucking integrity and hasn't hoarded out for whatever reason. I think we need to cut down on this moonshine. Hey, Christopher, how's it going? So, we're gonna, I'm gonna double check my gear here real quick. We're gonna put the old mason jar of moonshine in the backpack. Before we're down to 2 bars on the battery. That's true, Jefferson. A lot of guys that go out and buy like heavy cover or hidden woodsman gear or shit like that, that's a fucking month's worth of bills and rent that they're spending on that gear. You think my ass is going to do that? Hell no. Hell no. And now I got a new daughter to raise, Paisley, you know. She's going to need a lot of attention and a lot of care and a lot of things that, you know, come with having a new pup. And I want to train her to hunt, shed hunt. So I'm going to have to buy her a deer antler. Because I sure as hell ain't going to let her chew on the deer antlers that I pick up from HB and his boys. So we're going to, you know, train that dog a little bit to be out in the woods with us. We're going to have Cheyenne out in the woods with us. Try to bring them out a little bit and have them a little bit more active. Cheyenne needs to be a little bit more active. She's 4 now, and she's getting a little weight on her. So she's like packing on a winter weight. That girl needs some exercise, so we're going to bring her out to the woods with us. We're going to have Cheyenne with us one trip, and then we'll bring Paisley out with us another trip. We have these 2 dogs that we're going to train to get comfortable out here in the woods with us. And speaking of getting comfortable out here in the woods, we're going to be leaving camp here in a minute, y'all. And I'm trying to stow my gear here real quick. I want to keep my lights accessible where I can just turn them on and you guys can see what I'm seeing. But we're going to go on a night hike. This night hike that we're going to go on, I'm going to try to illuminate it as best I can for you guys. But for about 2 or 3 minutes of this live stream, we're going to get away from camp. We want to hike a good distance away from our camp. We have no safety gear as far as a med kit or a tourniquet or fire starter or anything like that. We're going to get away from camp. We're going to leave all the gear behind except for the camera gear and the lights that we need to illuminate this. I'm even leaving my backpack. My knife, my axe, my saw, everything is in my backpack right now. Even my fucking kooks and moonshines in there. We're leaving the backpack here at camp. The only thing we're taking with us is filming gear and the lights so you guys can see. We're going to get away from camp. We're going to hike up the top of the ridge. We're going to get all the way up there, so we got to go over some rough terrain in the dark. We're going to get up there. We're going to turn the lights out, and for about 3 minutes here while we're streaming, we're just going to sit in the dark. I'm going to be quiet. I'll see your guys' comments, and I'll try to whisper so you guys hear the wilderness around me and not me. So we are leaving camp with no gear. That's what we're doing right now. And the only thing I'm taking with me is the lights and the camera. So I'm going to collapse the, I got my Vaunt here. This is my Vaunt LED. That's a bright little son of a bitch. We're going to take that with me. I'm going to clip it on my belt. We'll just clip that onto the side of my belt so I can open that up anytime. We got our rechargeable light here. That's a bright little bastard. I'm going to be closing it down here in a second. And the only thing I'll have is my headlamp. Now, it's going to be dark as shit for you guys, okay? But we're going to get out there. And we're going to experience the wilderness away from camp. No fire, no gear, no safety equipment. We're going to be hiking a little bit with nothing but the camera and the lights. That's what we're doing right now. And then we'll make it back here to camp. And we'll do our wrap up. After the wrap up, I'll be packing it up and I'll be hiking out. You guys will probably walk out with me. We're gonna get back home. I'll get everything hooked up and set for a charge. Kind of regroup a little bit here after doing this night hike in the stream. And then we'll be doing a live stream from my house where you guys will get to meet my new pup and probably see Cheyenne. We'll sit there and maybe we'll even bust open that Four Roses bourbon we have back there. So we might try that out. But for right now, what we're going to do is go on a little night hike and see if we can experience the wilderness after dark with no gear. Again, one more time before we move out of the shelter. The only thing that I have on me for this hike is the lights so you guys can see the way and the camera. That's it. Everything else is being left right here at the shelter. So we're going to go on a little hike here. We're going to start by going down the creek. We'll see how it lights up. And then whenever we get out into the woods, we'll sit down for 2 or 3 minutes just to experience the sound of the woods and then try to make our way back to the camp. Does that all sound good to you guys? All right. Turn our main light off. And here we are. Also have the clip right there on our light. So I'll put it in my side pouch so I don't lose it. And here we go, guys. We're going to be night hiking through the woods here after dark. We'll get out there a good distance away from camp and we'll sit down for a little bit so you guys can just listen to the sound of the woods. And then we try to make our way back. No survival gear. Everything is being left right here at camp. Can you all see that? So my backpack is here at camp. All of my gear is here at camp. I'm not even carrying a knife with me. Ugh. So I'm going to turn you guys around. You want a dog with you? Yeah, chances are we're going to run into a coyote or something. Look at that little dot of light. That's all we got. Now when we get down to the creek, we might be able to illuminate this a little bit more because the creek's that blue shale and it'll reflect the light a lot better. Oh, it's dark as shit. This is where things start getting a little bit dangerous, and you probably shouldn't be doing this. Don't ever do what Huntsman does. And that's because I'm walking on rock. I'm going to try to lighten this up a little bit more. We got to hike on these rocks. Just get down into the creek. And this comes down to paying attention to what I can see on the iPhone, which is dark as shit, and what I can see right in front of me while I'm doing this little night hike. We've night hiked like this before. This ain't nothing new for us. We're kind of used to it. And I mentioned on streams before that I'm kind of used to doing this shit because I used to come out coon hunting with just a spotlight and a shotgun. Have a 20 gauge or something like that. Come out coon hunting back when raccoon pelts were actually worth something. Yeah, see that blue shale lights up pretty good at night. That's why we're putting it, you see how that light just reflects off of there? That's why we're putting it on the shoulder. It just reflects light really well. Now, what you guys make out on the camera and what I'm making out here in person, two different things. This thing's lit up like a blue ribbon going through the woods as far as my headlamp goes. Turn that beam on a little wider now. So here we are, hiking down the creek in the middle of the night. seeing if we can run into a Sasquatch. Oh, look. Fish bait. We might actually be able to find some worms like that in the shallows of this creek, take them down to the main river and catch fish. That's a nice bonus. Get out of that water a little bit. Whoa. Get out of that water a little bit. We're going to start hiking up here across the rocks. Hiking on different types of terrain at night, good practice. Probably a good thing that I got you guys here at the live stream with me, so I ain't hiking on this kind of terrain by myself. I guess in a survival situation, you might have to do a night hike. And definitely, if you're out coon hunting, you have to do a night hike. We ought to go up here and a little deeper in the woods, see if we can find us some wildlife. That might only be out at night. Of course, all the damn talking I'm doing. Oh, looky here. Looky there. Can you guys make that out? It's a woolly bear. People look at these caterpillars to try to, and they look at their fur to try to predict how hard the winter is going to be. The more fur they have on them, the more they expect the winter to be cold. But we're hiking in the woods in the middle of the night and happen to spot a caterpillar on the forest floor. Pretty cool, huh? Woo. I dropped you there for a second. All right, we're going to be hiking up to the woods now. Oh, look at this. 1 second. Let's try something out here. I want to see something. See that fungus that's growing right there? Hold on a minute. Damn. There for a second. I thought that might be bioluminescent fungus, but she ain't glowing. So that is not our bioluminescent fungus, but we will keep looking for it while we're hiking through here. There are several different types of fungus and mushrooms that grow in this woods that glow in the dark. If we happen to come across one, we'll capture it here on the live stream. Alright, we are at a ridge now. We're just hiking along the edge of a ridge. Night hiking, not recommended, guys. Like, you guys see me doing this, I cannot go on record and say that I recommend night hiking. Yeah, woolies are cool. I'm glad we found one here in the middle of the fucking night. That was awesome. But predicting winter with the woolly bears is probably about as accurate as ending winter with the groundhogs. You never know. Somebody added it up to make sense. Alright guys, I think we'll go a little bit deeper here. The forest sounds fucking amazing right now. Alright, check this out. If I can illuminate it for you. So I'm up here on this ridge. There's the ground. And there's the nothing. There's the ground. And there is the nothing. There's the ground. And then there's nothing. That's the dangerous hiking at night, especially if you don't have any light source at all. There's the fucking ground, and right next to it is a whole lot of nothing. If I was to take one more step, my ass be going right down that cliff. So that's one of the dangers to doing these night hikes. we need to try to find a way down. I want to show you guys something on this hike, but I think we'll go the long way. We'll just follow this edge here. Obviously, you're not seeing much of the forest as we're doing this night hike, but I am scouting the ground for salamanders, which I do have a lot of in here. We have some emerald salamanders, and we have some purple ones that we get to spot every once in a while. Here's another cliff. I'm gonna try to go down it. Obviously some snakes might be out here in the evening, and it's hard telling if we find a coon or something like that. That would be cool. If we could spot like a group of raccoons out here playing around, that would be awesome as hell. I got a bend in the creek here. Hold on, guys. It might get a little bumpy. I'm actually going to try to slide down this little bit of a cliff here and land in the creek. So just hold on real quick. If it starts swaying, I apologize. Not like you guys would know it anyway. It's too damn dark to see anything. Don't know what the fuck Huntsman's doing out here. He done gone crazy. There, now we're back in the creek. That wasn't too much of a drop. It's only about 3 foot. There is something that I want to capture on film right here at the live stream, if we can find it, and I'm trying to find it after dark, which is a pain in the ass, let me tell you. And I know it's a little bit of a hike. It's about a 1/4 mile away from our camps. That's where we're headed. At least I have a target in mind. And then we gotta find our way back, which is just kind of following the creek, because the creek runs right down to the fucking camp. So this is like the highway. Oh, we gotta go up here. Oh, there's another worm. More fish bait. You guys ever go out hunting worms? You guys see Grant McIntosh? Grant actually raises his own. But that was a thing when I was growing up. My dad would send me out with a fucking coffee can out into the backyard or the garden and want me to gather up fucking fish worms. And we sold them for like $2 a dozen, $1 a dozen or something like that. But the village we lived in has about maybe 100 people that live in it. Right in the middle of the village, there was an old blacksmith shop. The guy made wrought iron, cast iron, and something else. Always working with iron at this old school blacksmith shop that he just had in this like a brick garage. And right next to it was a horse ranch. They had horses right in the middle of fucking town. So my dad would send us out hunting fish worms, and we'd put them in the refrigerator out in the barn, and we'd sell them to whoever was going out into the wildlife preserve that bordered our land, so they could go bass fishing and shit like that. There's some great bass out there in those lands. Not too much on catfish. We had to go to the county reservoir to get cats. But that's what my dad would take me out doing most of the time, was catfishing, which is why you guys see me catfishing so much. I love catfishing. I love it more than anything, because you just get to sit and chill. You don't know if you're going to get a cat or a turtle. Man, there are worms all over this creek. They are literally all over. Look. Look at that shit. It's fucking payday out here, y'all. We should be fishing. And they're off to the west, or off to the east. Oh, here we are. This is it. This is what we came to see right here. Look at this. That's what I brought you guys out to see. I dug this up earlier today. me see if I can light this up and show you a size comparison a little bit. This is a giant chunk of quartz crystal. It's rose and white quartz. It's got some encrusting in it, but that is the crystal that we are going to be trying to get back to camp. That thing's got to weigh a fucking ton, and I gotta rig up something to drag this big ass fucking crystal back to camp because I happen to have a plan for it. We're gonna get a little closer here. This is the hole that I dug it out of. I mean, it was deep, but it comes up to a point right there at the top. This is the biggest piece of rose quartz that I have ever found. And I have a whole room back at the house full of rose quartz crystals. This is the largest one. We are definitely getting this sumbitch back to our camp somehow. So, it's gonna be hard to make it out here in the dark, but she's got some encrusting to her, like she's glittery towards the bottom there. And yeah, she needs some acid wash. Like I'll take acid and wash it off. But she is a beautiful crystal. All of that moss on there, acid will wash that off, and this will just look like a fucking rose in the wood. After I get done, right here is, you can't make it out in this damn light though, but right there is the pink rose quartz that's showing up in it. And if I hold a light up to it in certain spots, I can see right through the damn thing. But this is the crystal that I found during one of the previous live streams, and I came out here to dig the sumbitch up, and it's covered in mud right now, and it needs a lot of cleaning. But that's the crystal that I'm trying to get back to camp. That is the heart of the forest right there. Something that damn big, that is insane. Like, again, I want to do a size comparison, but it's hard to see it here. That's a massive crystal. And pulling it out of the ground took every fucking thing I had to. But we're going to try to get that crystal back to camp somehow, some way, using nothing but resources that we have available out here in the woods. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I cannot wait to actually get it cleaned up. And what I'll be bringing out is some boric acid, and we'll get that all cleaned off. And we'll be spraying it down with acid over a period of a couple of days. We can't get something that big into an acid vat to soak it, but we're going to bring some wire brushes out and some boric acid, try to clean that off, get all of that shit off of there, and then you'll just have this massively giant fucking crystal sitting there at camp. And what I'm wanting to do is not only tug this big sumbitch back up to the camp, but I want to get it polished up, and I want to set it on the top of that stone column that we have at camp. So we're going to take this massive crystal right here, and we're going to set it on top of that stone column that was probably from back in the 1800s. And you know what, we'll have this giant crystal sitting just off to the side of the camp there in the meadow. So that's the goal, but that is going to be a lot of fucking work, because I got to get this. And it's, guys, I'm telling you, it weighs a fucking ton. Quartz is very dense. It's almost as damn near as dense as diamond. So it's really heavy. It's actually dense enough where you can spark off of it. Like if you hit a flint steel on there, you can use quartz just like you use flint. It'll make a spark. So we're going to try to take that giant chunk of rose quartz there, clean it up, get it back to camp. That's got to weigh in excess of between 200 and 300 pounds, I'm thinking. But I got to get it over all this rocky terrain and everything and back up to camp. And then I got to lift it up on that 3-foot pillar of stone, which is what we're going to hike up to next. So if y'all bear with me, we're going to be trying to make our way back up towards camp. We'll get in the meadow. I'll show you the column that I am going to be mounting that giant crystal on, if I can make it back up to the camp. So that is one of the projects that we have coming up after we get the shelter done and closed in, is we're going to try to rig up a cart or a sled cart hybrid, something that might have wheels on it that we can roll across this rocky creek bottom and slide in some areas and tug that thing back up to camp one little bit at a time until we get it up to that column. And then we're going to build a ramp to pull it up on the column, kind of like they did the fucking stones when they were building the pyramids, and mount that giant rose quartz crystal at the top of that column. The column most likely was a well from back in the 1800s, whenever this area had a homestead in it, or whatever the hell was going on down here. It could have been a homestead, or it could have even been like a mill type deal. I don't know. There's no records for anything being built in this woods as far as the current property owner knows. But yeah, that's one of our goals, is to get that big ass fucking crystal back up to that 1800s column and set it right there on top. The heart of the forest, inside the huntsman's new camp. There's our favorite spiral wood grain. Metal detecting in the area, yes I have. And we're going to be using some of this wood grain. You see that spiral wood grain? I'm going to be coming down here and harvesting this too, and we're going to be building a table for inside the cottage out of this grain. Yeah, metal detecting in the area is something that I thought about, if I can ever actually afford a metal detector, and one that would actually work. Oh, we have something here. What is it? Oh, look. If I can get him to focus in. Can you guys make out the spider? You see him right there in the center of the screen? That spider on that log. As I was walking through the woods, I seen this flash of emerald. Can you make him out? Let me see if I can do it with the headlamp. I seen this flash of emerald, and I get up here and I thought that it was, there he is. Kind of have to illuminate him off to the side. There he is. I saw this flash of emerald color, and it was his back plate. It was the light reflecting off of his black back plate, and it made it look like a green light in the dark. That's how I spotted that little spider while I'm hiking through here. Who likes spiders? I have a tarantula at home. Y'all ain't met her yet. Her name's Charlotte. I've had her since she was a little thing. She was only about the size of a quarter when I got her. Now she's the size of my hand. Yeah, Jess, we like spiders. Spiders will help you curl your hair. Alright, guys. Oh, there we go. I am just sitting down on a log here real quick. We're going to turn the light out. And I'm going to shut the fuck up just so you guys can hear the forest around me. So I'm just going to be sitting here in the dark on this log and with nothing. No light, no nothing. So the only thing that I'll be able to see is you guys. And we're going to see what this is like. So listen close. Looks like the stream ended, doesn't it? It is so damn dark, sitting out here in the middle of the woods with no light. So that's what's happening right now, guys. I'm just sitting out here just on the bank of the creek with no light on. Please do a spider video. Y'all want to see my tarantula? I do actually have to bust her out here. I'm going to turn you guys around. It's a little insane. I do have to bust the tarantula out here in a bit because I got to change her tank. I got to put new bedding and stuff in her tank, and I got her new wooden shelter. So it's like a half-round log to put in there so she has some place to kind of hide during winter. So I'll be busting out Charlotte and cleaning her tank out really good. And yeah, why don't we live stream that? Me cleaning out Charlotte's tank. We'll get that on a live stream. We can do that. Hell, let's do it tomorrow. Yeah, we can. You guys can meet Charlotte, and you guys can see the pup. For those who don't tune in, we are going to be streaming again when I get back home. For those who don't tune in to tonight's stream, if you tune in tomorrow around, it'll be tomorrow morning. If you guys are up for that, tomorrow, yeah, probably tomorrow morning, because I got to work tomorrow night. And then I work all fucking week. We can get Charlotte out, and you guys can see Charlotte. We'll have a spider and a puppy in the same video. How about that? So we got the soft and squishy for Jess, and we got the spider for the boys. Charlotte is a good spider, though. And tarantula, she's a rose-haired tarantula. And got her off the back of a semi-truck when she was about the size of a quarter. That was 14 fucking years ago. No lie. I have had Charlotte for 14 years, and she's a spider. But rose-haired tarantulas can live 20, 25 years if you take good care of them. She molts about twice a year, depending on how much she eats, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times a year if she's really gorging. And whenever she molts, she gets about maybe, I don't know, a few millimeters to a quarter-inch bigger. So the first time she did that, I didn't know shit about spiders, especially rose-haired tarantulas. The first time she molded, I thought she had died because she just flipped over on her back. But then after she was coming out of the shell, she just pushed her back plate off and crawled out of it. And she looked like blown glass. You could see right through her for a couple of hours before she turned brown again. It was some crazy shit. So every time she starts molting now, I always watch it because it's just amazing watching her do it. And you can't mess with them when they're doing it. They got to kind of go at their own pace. It's a really slow process at times, but it's amazing to watch. Yeah, rose-haired tarantulas will live forever. They just don't know when to quit. I'm going to turn you guys around real quick. See if you can see. Try to turn you around real quick. Fucking moonshine. Alright. There we go. Yeah, once again on record to say, old Huntsman here has been drinking moonshine during this live stream tonight, and now we're hiking down a rocky-ass creek bed, trying to find our way back to camp in the middle of the night. Probably not something that we should recommend other outdoorsmen or outdoors kids who drop out of high school so they don't have to have a jobby job do. Don't be like Huntsman. Huntsman fucking crazy. I got no survival gear with me. I didn't even bring my backpack. No knife, no axe, no saw, no moonshine. If I slip and fall on the rocks, I'm just fucked. Breaking all the rules. I don't even know where we're at. I'm just following the creek. Trying to light it up as best I can for you guys, but Jesus Christ, the further and deeper we go, the darker it gets. Alright. Here we get up here in the woods a little bit. I think we're at the edge of the meadow. I'm seeing all these damn... See them? Seeing these, this is the meadow. This is right beside our camp. We got all these ferns and these wildflowers growing up in here right now. It's sometimes a pain in the ass to get through because there is some thorny shit in here. But we're going to try to get... Oh, look at this. Look. Check that shit out. There's a tree frog. That is so cool. I just seen him hop up there. That is wicked cool. This is stuff that don't come out in the daytime. You can almost see right through that little shit. Look at that. Oh, it's a little too glary. Let me see if I can get around the side of him here. If he'll work with me on a photo op. trying here, guys. He is so cool. That is awesome. Only here, guys, only here. We not hiking, finding little tiny frogs. He's about the size of my fingertip. Look at that. Just a little fella. But we managed to spot him right here in the dark. So as I was hiking up through here, I happened to see this thorn bush move. And I knew I didn't move it. So something had to, thank you, Jess. Something had to jump up there and move that plant. So this you got to pay attention to if you want to spot anything out here. We're pretty good trackers. Even whenever it comes to something the size of your fingertip, we're pretty good trackers. We don't like to brag though, until we start bragging. So coming up through the meadow, it's hard telling what we'll spot up here. We could see our salamanders up here, which is something that I really want to capture on film. A lot of times the salamanders only come out at night, and they're kind of hard to spot because they can hear your footsteps, so they run away. They're real skittish. If we lift up some logs or something, we might find some. It did just rain, so it's prime time for them to be out. But spotting that little tree frog, that was cool. You can hear them all over. Listen. Those are all tree frogs and crickets out there. Now see this log right here? This is prime for salamanders. But like I said, they're really skittish. I'm actually hiking through the meadow here. Everything looks so different after dark. I'm hiking through the meadow here trying to find our stone column. I think I just spotted it. Appreciate that. That would have been a cool screenshot. Having it happen on a live stream just makes it all the better, because it ain't faked. It ain't the perfect shot. It just is what it is. There's our stone column that we're going to be putting our giant crystal on. So a few of you have probably seen that thing before. So yep, that's what we'll set our crystal on when we get it up here to camp, and then we'll train our ivy that we got down here to wrap around the column and then up to the crystal over next year. That's our vision for that anyway. So now we can get back to camp. We'll grab our gear and we'll be hiking out, and then I'll get back home. Y'all have to give me about an hour or two to get back home, get set up there at home for a late night stream here, and you guys can meet my new puppy. And if we can work it out, we'll try to go ahead and get Charlotte out. She just ate, so she ought to be calm. But we'll try to get Charlotte out so you can see her tonight, and then tomorrow, for those who can't come back for the later stream tonight, we'll go ahead and clean out her pen and get her all set up with that during tomorrow's stream from the house. So here we are back at our build, which you can't see because it's too damn dark, but we are back at camp now. Safe and sound. We have our little hook up here. This is the hook that I left on the beam to hang the light from. So I did that there on purpose, just so I have something to suspend my light from. That's how we light up the inside of the shelter and that. So I was even thinking about this shit whenever I was putting the A-frame up. So there we go. A little night hike. Spotted the crystal. We got to see the crystal at night, which is cool. That's something we haven't done before, is hiking back there to see the crystal. Get this. We didn't even need the lantern, didn't use it. Go ahead and get that off my belt, light this shit up a little bit more. So there we go, a night hike with no gear. That's my backpack and all of my gear here. And we didn't die. It's not that big of a deal, guys. It just takes a little fucking common sense. Watch your footing. Watch what's fucking going on around you. You know, be a fucking man. Night hikes are fun. Like I said, I'm used to that kind of thing just because I used to go night hiking whenever I was out coon hunting. I always coon hunt at night, so growing up coon hunting, walking through the woods after dark ain't shit for me, but other guys feel fit about it, saying if I keep night hiking and showing it on live streams and doing all the shit that I do, I'm gonna get somebody killed. I'm like, you dumb pansy motherfucker, I've been doing this since I was a kid. Alright, so we gonna settle in here for the close up of this particular live stream. We did not get a lot done on the build, but it's been an interesting stream. We are experimenting with this panel that we have going on over here. We got that panel in. We started crusting it with blue shale. We're going to see how that looks in the daylight. I started streaming late tonight, so there was not a lot of build time for this episode, which is fine because it's not like we're on a timeline. We don't have a deadline for this. The longer it drags out, the more fun we get to have. I like it. I hope you guys like it. I figured you wouldn't be coming back if you didn't. And it gives some new people an opportunity to get in here and join in this community build. Hanging out at a bushcraft camp and doing all the shit that we do after dark is a unique experience. I mean, a lot of other people do live streams. A lot of other people do, you know, have outdoors bushcraft channels and shit like that, but they ain't none of them like me. Guarantee you that. Just because I say fucking a lot. And they ain't. And they refuse to do it. They're trying to fit in. And you cannot stand it out and fit in at the same time. You gotta have an edge. And if you're trying a cookie cutter bushcraft channel, you're never gonna stand out from me or guys that are bigger than me or anything else. You gotta start drinking moonshine. Ugh. Where the hell did I put my cigars? Ugh. Pretty sure they had a couple left. Oh, we got a man missing in action, y'all. I didn't spot him in my backpack. They might be out there by the camera. I do have to remember to take my main camera out. I filmed some of tonight's episode, or next Friday night's episode of Huntsman this evening. So I got some footage there I get to work with whenever I get done with all this fun stuff. I got that camera set up out there, so I'm going to have to make sure that I remember it when I head out. I'm going to run out there right quick, see if I left my pouch of tobacco out there. Oh, what the balls, man. I know I had some left. But this is one of the things that happens out in the woods. Is you misplace one little fucking thing. It gets dark, and then you can't find your one little fucking thing that you really want. I was pretty sure I tucked it in my backpack, but I'm not feeling it in here anyway. Happens to everybody. Don't let them lie to you either. I'm actually pretty good at keeping track of all my shit. I always like to keep everything in one little corner of the shelter or out there by the tree. But right here on the live stream, I don't know where I put my damn pouch of cigars. Not like a life or death thing, but they're not in my backpack. and they're not in my pocket. We took them out when we were out there streaming. Put all this shit away. I don't think they're in the old Han Solo. They're not in the Han Solo. What the shit? Yeah, I think I was outside when I had them too. I know they ain't in the shelter and they ain't in my pack, so they gotta be laying there somewhere. But there's a damn brown pack in a brown forest. Brilliant idea, Huntsman. Fucking brilliant. You dumb motherfucker. Let's move out here. Oh, that's my knee. I was pretty sure that I had them whenever we was working on the wall. But then we smoked another one on the inside. I'll find them in the morning when I'm out here doing the wood processing and shit. I do have a little more wood stored up here for some more projects. We got a table to build. We got the bed to build. Got a lot of building to do yet. Got a lot of shell to break up yet too. Ugh. Well, there's our technical difficulty for this evening. It didn't happen with the stream itself. It happened with where the Huntsman put his backwoods cigars. That's okay. We're going to be back out here at first light in the morning. I'm sure I'll spot them, and it ain't going to rain overnight, so it's not like anything's going to happen to the damn thing. Chances are I got them in one of the pouches of my backpack, and I just ain't fucking smart enough to find them. So we have to switch to the back up. We're going to be hiking out here in a minute, guys. Wrapping this up. Like I said, didn't get a lot on the build done itself, but we did get the panel put in. I just need more daylight. I came out here too late to be encrusting it, so I just put an extra layer. No, I'll find them. I just put an extra layer of wet clay on there and do the encrusting tomorrow when I have more light. Too late of a stream, but if I start streaming too early, folks are just getting off of work. I just heard a gunshot. I'm out here in the woods and I just hear a gunshot. Folks are just getting off of work, or they're not off of work yet, or some shit like that. It's hard for people to come at certain times, so I try to spread the streams out a little bit. God damn, that thing's blinding me. I try to spread my streams out a little bit where different folks have an opportunity to get in there and enjoy the stream, you know what I mean? And hang out with me for a little bit here at camp or at the house. The last stream we had, we was just at my house. We was drinking moonshine, shooting off the compound bow. That was fun. You don't know what I'm going to be doing whenever I'm live streaming. I don't know what I'm going to be doing when I'm live streaming. I just know what kind of work that this kind of shit takes. That's what we're really trying to put out with this particular series. We've been working on this build all summer now. Coming into fall, we're wrapping it up, which is cool, but it's been more about hanging out and just having a good time than actually getting the build done. Where the fuck are all those shots coming from? It sounds like a shotgun. That was no tiny ass little gun. Pack this fucking gear up. We're gonna be hiking out. I don't think I'm gonna be using a lantern. dead away. So on the hike out here, I'll be, you know, just hiking out. It's not that far, it's about a quarter mile hike down the creek. Get back to my truck. I do have a railroad bridge that I have to cross after I get out of a thicket patch. So that's always fun to do at night. But yeah, I'll get that done. Get this little hike out of here done. I'll get back home and I'll hook things up, and then better not be unwanted visitors, because they're already using their fucking ammo. And the motherfuckers probably don't even know what they're shooting at. By the time they get to me, they're gonna be out of ammo, and my axe don't run out of ammo. And I'm a creepy motherfucker. I'll just turn the lights out and come up on you in the dark. I don't care. It's just like coon hunting. Let me grab the chandelier out of there real quick, guys. Oh, chandelier's a bright little bastard. We like it. I do have another lantern coming that I'm going to be reviewing, which is kind of a hybrid between my Vaunt and this little fucking knockoff lantern here. This lantern here I got because it holds up really well in the winter. It's an insulated casing, so it can handle like sub-zero temperatures and the battery's not going to die. This is what got me out of the polar vortex. So I found a lantern that's actually a hybrid between this kind of insulated casing for sub-zero weather and the Vaunt LED lantern, and I'm going to be testing it out. So the next lantern that I got coming out, it's got 30 LEDs in it, but it's also got winter insulation casing, so it can hold up in sub-zero temperatures. That's my next lantern that I'm going to be testing out on the unsponsored gear part of the channel. We actually have a lot of unsponsored gear, you know, gear that we come out here and it's tried and tested. I just fucking found it and bought it myself. I don't even know who the fuck owns the company. We just come out here and whatever works, whatever don't type deal. So we're going to be putting up some more gear videos there on the channel to see if we can get some actual quality gear out to people that's not going to cost them an arm and a leg. Because aside from my axe, I don't have anything that costs over 20 bucks. I do give some gear sent to me, but I don't go out and purchase any kind of outdoors gear that's over 20 bucks, really. I do have a coat that I want to get that's a little bit more pricey, but if I can come up with the money for that's just something unique to me and unique to the style of my my series. So that's just something I'm working on. Oh, look, a beetle. Anyway, we're going to start the hike out here. I don't know if I'm going to stream you guys all the way out or if we're just going to wrap it up. Like I said, we got the panel done. We'll come back in the morning and get the encrusting done. So we'll be live streaming tomorrow morning. Probably around, I'm going to say 9 o'clock. We'll come out and stream at 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll try to get this panel that we closed in tonight encrusted with the blue shale and get the second panel up on tomorrow's live stream. So tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, some folks won't be able to make it because they'll be at work. I don't work until late tomorrow night, so we're going to be doing a morning stream for that morning crowd of people, see if we can get anybody in here for that. I will get home here, give me about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't know. If you guys hit that bell icon, you'll get notified of the next live stream, which will be here tonight from my house. You work at 8? Well, damn, now I ain't streaming at all. We'll be streaming here later on this evening from my house. You guys can see the puppy and you can see my spider if you guys want to come and hang out with me on the porch or something like that for a little bit here later this evening. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to start making my way towards those gunshots, find out what the fuck is going on there. Put this light away. All I need to get out of the woods is my headlamp, so if I put this away, it helps my night vision a little bit better. An error occurred, no stream. Damn it, Grandpa's place, I was hoping you was here. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. Give me about, oh, check it out, I'm a smurf. Creepy as shit. That's the LEDs on my rechargeable light. We having a disco party out here at the old Huntsman camp right now. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna hike on out of here. I'm just gonna use the headlamp to get out. Give me an hour or so. I'll get back home and give this time to process. I'll get everything hooked back up, and we'll live stream from the house tonight. We'll have us another drink. We'll take a look at the pup. We'll take a look at my tarantula and all that kind of fun stuff. Just hang out at the house and kind of chill for a little bit and just kind of wind down. I can focus on the chat and what you guys got going on. Yeah, it should be a good time. Just a late night hangout for a little bit. Just chilling on the porch. Nothing fancy. Maybe even look at a little bit of gear that I used here tonight. So I'm going to head out, guys. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that super chat. That was most welcome. Anybody that does the super chats or helps out by supporting the channel by hitting that channel support button there on the homepage of the channel, we'll have your name carved in stone right here at the camp. Whenever we get done, we have a stone slab out here. We're going to be using a diamond-headed Dremel bit to carve all of the supporters' names in stone right here at the camp, and we're going to leave that stone out here as a time capsule. That is a salute to everybody that supports my channel. So I will see you guys again if you come back for the next stream live from my house in about an hour or so. Thank you all for coming with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.